All right, folks, good afternoon. Will Nunley here in the WOPC studios. We welcome all of you watching across our platforms this afternoon, including Facebook and Twitter, and streaming along, listening to us. I'm here with storm specialist Drew Richards. Hi, Drew.
Good afternoon. Glad to be here,
Um,
Will.
so let's talk people through a little bit about what they're seeing on their screen. I'm gonna have to play with some graphics here in the meantime. But we have live radar up for us. We have an alert system on the screen. Walk us through what we're seeing on radar, especially as we start to talk about the very northern slice, possibly, of Decatur County, and certainly again maybe a 1-2 punch. It looks for Waverly this morning.
That is correct. Waverly, you guys have already seen storms, and now we have two more storms southwest of town. What we're looking at right now here in our local area, nothing for Waynesboro up through Linden, Lobelville, all clear for the time being. Tornado watch does continue, but we're coming to you live here this afternoon for northern Decatur County. We do have a brand new tornado warning that was just issued, and this is a brand new radar that we are happy to have access to here in the studio and bring you the best weather coverage this afternoon and for all future weather events. And what you're looking at there is live radar. We've got multiple monitors. If you see us looking around just a little bit this afternoon, we have a lot of information that we'll be
Yeah.
going through. But as we are in, notice again, right in the heart area, we're all good, but it's out in the northwest section, northern Decatur County. So what we're talking about here is going to be the areas north of Parsons, well north of Decaturville. So if you're in Parsons or Decaturville proper, you are not included in this tornado warning polygon. From the Parker Crossroads area up through Holiday and that far northern fringe of Decatur County, you are included in that tornado warning that goes until 3 p.m. So what I need you to do right now, you've got a little bit of time before this storm potentially impacts you. Go ahead and get in your safe place, lowest floor, interior room. You want to get away from doors and away from windows, because if this storm does continue to intensify and turn a little bit more eastward, this may very well come right near or along the I-40 corridor into northern Decatur County. So again, don't need you to panic. Don't need you to frantically run to your safe place, because we've got just a little bit of time. But between now and about 2:40 to 2:45 p.m., that's when I think the storm will be getting closer to northern Decatur County. And you're looking at the rotation product now with our radar. And the area of concern, again, is just to the west of the Parker Crossroads area, where you see this little green shading. So what we've done here with this radar product is turn off the rain. We're not looking at rain. We're not looking at hail. We're just looking at the road. So that is the area of concern southwest of Parker Crossroads. And as that continues to push east, that's what we're worried about for northern Decatur.
And Drew, let's take a step back and kind of look at the big picture here in terms of our weather alert system. So, folks, what you see here on your screen, real time, the millisecond that something is issued from either the Memphis Weather Service Office or Nashville, which is where we receive our alerts for our area, it appears here on this screen. So, what we're looking at right now, and I'll draw your attention to the second thing in this menu that you see, this display. That's our tornado warning. Benton, Carroll, Decatur, Henderson, Madison. We have 32 minutes left on this screen. So if you're watching us right now on YouTube, maybe you have us displayed on your home TV screen. This will show up very clearly for you. But for those of you who are streaming along on your smaller screen, the reason why we're doing this is so that you can take your phone to your safe place. And this will be a better way for you to be able to receive coverage real time from us, and you could also be in a safe place at the same time. So this is what you see on your screen here in terms of the severe thunderstorm warning for Benton County that we've been working on for quite a while now. And now we also have the Humphreys County. That one's going to expire. And now it looks like in the that's going to be out of the Memphis area, that new tornado warning that popped up. But we are looking, Drew, specifically at this one here, Benton, Carroll, Decatur, Henderson. And let's come back out to our live radar and take that kind of full right now. And there's the picture. So you see those of us here in Linden, Decaturville, really most of Decatur County, even most of Henderson County, you're in the clear for right now until. Talk about the movement of this storm. We see the polygon here. You know, is it, we just think like the maybe the very, southern edge of what we're seeing there in these polygons, that could be the area of concern?
Exactly, yes. And as you notice from this storm north of Lexington, The way these storms work on days like today is the stronger the storm and the stronger the rotation, it starts pulling to the right, pulling to the east a little bit more. So we're going to have to watch this closely, because if this rotation intensifies, it's going to start pulling more into the warm air, which we've got that warm southerly flow coming right into these storms today. So best case scenario, rotation remains on the weaker side. The storm's probably going to stay along and just north of the I-40 corridor. But if we get a intensifying rotation with this thunderstorm in the next 15 to 30 minutes, it may turn a little bit further east and be more of a concern for northwestern parts of Perry County and possibly including the Lobelville area next. So Lobelville, you're not included, but I want you to be on guard. I want you to call your friends, your family, if they're not paying attention to the weather today, and let them know that we've got a storm out to the west that may be approaching soon, and just have them tune in to us here as well.
And Drew, it's worth mentioning that the ingredients that we have in the atmosphere today have produced warnings, and they may have produced tornadoes that have produced possible damage. We're waiting to get a lot of that information in. But when we talk about Clarksville, Montgomery County, we may have had a situation earlier where we have damage on the ground. So, we've had reports in the forecasting that maybe this isn't going to be as strong as we got, and then some models said, we could see something. So it looks like we're trending right now where some of this is materializing right here with this cold front as it's rushing in, has some power behind it.
Exactly. And one thing I really don't like, Will, is we don't have that solid line of storms just yet. In all seriousness, we have clusters of spring-like supercells. And I know we all hate that word because we think of, the really bad spring days. This is not, your worst of your worst high-end event. But one thing of note for you weather nerds or your weather gurus that may be watching, the Storm Prediction Center is in the process of upgrading our area to a level 3 out of 5 risk. I like the numbers a little bit better than the words because the terminology is a little confusing, but we had a level 2 slight risk earlier this morning. They are going to be upgrading us to a level 3 enhanced risk. What does that mean? Now, what does the numbers mean? What does the words mean? All that means is we may have more severe weather than earlier anticipated throughout the afternoon and the evening hours today. And like Will said, up in the Clarksville area, we've had a large tornado, looks like moving through the central and northern parts of Clarksville, Tennessee, and there has been damage reported. We still likely have a tornado on the ground in southern Kentucky with that thunderstorm. So one thing to keep in the back of your mind is if we already have these ingredients in southern Kentucky to produce pretty serious tornadoes, then obviously we've got the same ingredients, if not a little bit more, down here in our local area. So that's why we're a little bit concerned today, and we want you to have a plan in place.
All right, let's dive in a little bit closer to the warning area right now. If you do a little zoom there, and we'll take you closer to I-40, and we'll start to name some of these areas, folks, that will mean something to you. And you see it there displayed on your screen, and we can go in really tight with some of these, but we're going to give you, this is a good view right now because it shows you not only the outline of the polygon of the warned area, but shows you exactly what we're looking here. So Clarksburg, Parker Crossroads, Holiday, and this is another concern not only for our residents in this area, but if you have folks traveling between Jackson and Nashville along I-40, this is a good time to give them a call. Make sure that they're aware of what's developing because, boy, you have to always think about folks being, in a vehicle during this. And as you're switching products there, Drew, walk us through what we're seeing because we see, our traditional, what we are used to seeing on the radar disappear. That's the view that we're used to seeing. But we have a lot of different products available to us now. And when you are kind of looking at some of these different radar features, what are we seeing on the screen?
For sure. Now, this is your basic how hard it's raining mode, we like to call. When you're looking at your radar apps or TV or watching us here, this is what you're most familiar seeing on the radar. This is simply showing us the precipitation in the storm. One thing of concern, notice how we have that little hook shape here near Clarksburg and just to the northwest of Parker Crossroads. So you immediately can see that this storm has that classic supercell structure. And notice the fine details that we're able to see. So typically when we're using NextRad radar, we're looking about 5,000 to 6,000 feet above ground. This storm, we're literally looking at 1,000 foot above the ground with this brand new radar that we have access to today. So we're going to see detail like we've never seen before. When we look at rotation, we're looking at the velocity product here. The greens are going to be toward the radar, reds are away, and it can be a little confusing. So what I like to use is a product just basically blanks out the wind, and it only shows us where the rotation is in the thunderstorm. So notice the green area back here west of Parker
And boy,
Crossroads.
this is getting very, very close to the interstate.
It is, and I don't like what I'm seeing because like we just talked about, as we take this back a scan or two, notice how it's almost pulling due east. Now notice when I go all the way back to the beginning, and we're just going to loop this through slowly, it is a little bit weaker than it was one scan ago. So the way these storms work, they will intensify. They'll look like they're about to produce a tornado there. Notice we have the bright green and then possibly even red there just west of Parker Crossroads. And then if we go one more scan, which is current, we start to lose, and there's our latest scan, the rotation significantly weaker in the storm
Good.
as
That's
of 1 minute ago. Very good news because we're getting 2-minute updates on this radar instead of normally the 3 to 5 minute updates from NextRad. So again, you're going to be a little bit ahead of the game, ahead of the curve by watching our severe weather coverage today because we're able to see in real time what's going on with this new radar product. And let's go back to base reflectivity. And yeah, you could, just from the minute ago, notice how that looks a little bit more ragged. Good news there. Still need you to be in your safe place. Don't come out yet if you're in Parker Crossroads, Clarksburg, Holiday, all the way down to northern Decatur County. Tornado warning continues until 3 o'clock. We should be getting an update on that warning here in the next few minutes, Will. So I'll look for that, and we'll update that as the Weather Service lets us know what they're doing.
So let's bring folks back out to our severe weather alert system, and this is all of the watches and warnings, really definitely the warnings that have been issued here by our National Weather Service offices in Memphis and in Nashville. And what you see on your screen in order of when they were issued, the different warnings that we're facing around the state right now. I want to draw your attention to the second tornado icon that you see. It's about the fourth object down in the middle of your screen there, and that's Benton, Carroll, and Decatur and Henderson County. So we have 24 minutes left on this particular warning. We have about 22,000 people that are wrapped into this polygon. So whenever the National Weather Service creates one of these warning areas, they don't just broadly name a county anymore. They're actually able to say, well, it's going to be more toward the northern part of the county or, wherever, and actually kind of section that off. And so with that information now, we can tell you a little bit more specific. So we have a radar indicated situation at this point affecting about 22,000 people that is there. So these are some of the information that we'll be bringing you throughout our streams to make sure that you know what we're talking about here whenever we have something like a debris is visible, or when we have a spotter that really reports something on the ground, that will also filter into this system, and we're able to give you some really accurate data with that.
Definitely so. Love that new product. And still, Will, as you were talking about that, we did get an update from the Weather Service about 5 minutes ago on this warning. They did take the Madison County part of the warning, which is, of course, back in the Jackson area, out. That storm has moved out of Madison County, but the tornado warning remains in effect until 3 o'clock for northeastern Henderson, southwestern Benton County, eastern Carroll, and the main part we're talking about here, northeastern Decatur counties. And as again, it was about 5 minutes ago, this is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Parker's Crossroads, or 9 miles northwest of the Natchez Trace State Park, moving east at 40 miles per hour. So again, that's a little more concerning because earlier this was moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So according to the Weather Service, this is turning more due east. So this would put this storm potentially impacting northern Decatur County, including the I-40 corridor between now and about 3 p.m. So again, this continues to be a radar indicated rotation. And if you're anywhere along State Highway 69 that comes out of Parsons, goes up to I-40. Once you get within, we can actually do some pretty cool distance measuring tools here. So tell you what we're going to do. We're going to put a marker at I-40. And this polygon goes about 4.5 miles south of 40. So let's just say if you're within 5 miles of the interstate on State Highway 69, northern Decatur County, you are included in this tornado warning polygon. So we're talking to you that need to take action and get in your safe place and make sure that you ride this thing out. Best case scenario, this stays just north of you. But if you're in the polygon, we need you to take action and go ahead and get to that safe place. One thing we haven't talked about yet is where you don't want to be in these tornado warning polygons.
Absolutely.
So vehicles are absolutely the worst place you can be. So again, like Will said, if you know friends or family or people you don't even like on I-40 this afternoon, you send them a call, send them a text message, and they need to get off the interstate. They need to find substantial shelter in this area, because at any point we could have a tornado touching down. And of course, mobile homes are the second worst place to be in these tornado warning polygons on days like today. So interior room, lowest floor of your home or residence or business or wherever you might be at today. And let's ride this thing out, and hopefully we'll get out on the other side with no damage.
So resetting real quick. Hi, everybody. I'm Will Nunley, along with Storm Specialist Drew Richards, streaming along to you for WNKX, WOPC, Sunny 106.5 this afternoon, letting you know about a tornado warning that is within our coverage area. So anytime a storm comes into the coverage area of one of our radio stations, we'll then be streaming along with you to make sure that you have a visual component in addition to hearing the alarm sound on the radio. Looks like a new tornado warning coming in here for Houston and Humphreys County, and I think I can expand upon this. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's pull up our alert system here, and let's get into the details of this. And so this is a tornado warning for southeastern Houston County in Middle Tennessee and northern Humphreys County. So this is starting to get a little bit out of what we would consider our listening area, but this will be near Waverly and McEwen. That's not far away, folks. And so if we're sharing this stream this afternoon with those folks, please feel free. We'll stay here with them. So this is at 2:39. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near New Johnsonville or Camden, moving east at 40 miles per hour. And this is, again, part of that same line that we've been tracking here with you along their radar this afternoon. 35 minutes remaining this, Drew, and let's see what it looks like from the radar perspective. I'll send it over to you.
Perfect. Yep. The northern sail. So we've been tracking the further southwestern sail back near the Parker Crossroads in the Clarksburg area. So just to keep you straight, if you're listening on the radio this afternoon, this is a second storm, not the same storm that's going to be impacting northern Decatur County. It's going to be up near, like Will said, Camden and Waverly. Camden right now, this particular sail is east of you. So if you're in Camden proper, you are not included in this second tornado warning polygon. It's off to your east. We'll continue to watch you guys further to the southwest to see if that second storm affects you. This does include the Waverly area and near the New Johnsonville area and the McEwen area. All in that zone is where we're talking about the possible tornado. This is a little bit stronger rotation than what we were seeing back down to the southwest right now. So main impacts look to be Waverly in the next 5 to 10 minutes. So you don't have a whole lot of time. I don't want you to panic. I don't want you to run and, have anybody getting hurt running to your storm shelter this afternoon. But this is a little bit closer to Waverly than our storm we were talking about just a few minutes ago. So as we do the mile track, the strongest part of the rotation is currently about 5 to 6 miles due west of the Waverly downtown area. This is going to be just north of the U.S. Highway 70 that comes out of Waverly. And if you're anywhere along State Highway 13, that of course goes north-south there through Waverly, Tennessee, you are included in this tornado warning polygon. So go ahead, like we said, lowest floor, away from the windows, get the kids, get the pets, get anything you might need for the next 20 to 30 minutes, and just hunker down, just keep it right here with us, and we'll let you know when we have an all clear and you can come out of that tornado shelter.
And certainly if your pets are anything like mine, they're probably at your feet, as mine are right now. So if you see them make guest appearances, we're family around here, hometown radio, right? So, certainly think of your pets. And if you have some that you can bring inside, always a good idea. So let's talk about these two warnings that we have in our area that are the focus of these tornado warnings at this point. And we'll go to the one that is the oldest in our area, and that's going to be including parts of Benton, Carroll, Decatur, and Henderson County. That's the one that's going to be scraping along possibly parts of I-40 that we're worried about. That expires in about 16 minutes. We have about 18,000 people wrapped up in that warning. This fresh one that just came in is applying to the very northern part of our listening and viewing area today, and that's going to be for Houston and Humphreys County. That one expires in 31 minutes, but that's going to wrap up, as he said, and really include most of downtown Waverly as well. And so we have about 14,000 people wrapped up in that. This is a radar-indicated storm, and so they are seeing, as we are seeing, a little bit of possible rotation in terms of the wind movement there on the radar. And what you're seeing, folks, on your screen, this is not what you're used to seeing on, say, the Nashville TV stations. You can see in the center of your screen right near that little dot, that's a brand new radar. You're seeing it here for the first time. And so we are very close to our brand new radar site bringing you this information. So not only are we scanning very close in terms of, or height, I should say, in the atmosphere, but now we have a storm right on top of us, don't we, Drew?
We do, and that is a very good way to put it because, again, before we had access to this radar, we're looking at about 6,000 feet above ground, and that's as low as we could see. So there's a lot that can happen between the ground level and 6,000 feet up that we would not be seeing. But on this storm southwest of Camden that we're looking at, we are looking at a grand total of 500 feet above ground with this radar sweep. So we've got really the best view you could have. And with that, again, better news as this storm continues to get closer to the radar site, that rotation is still there. So, as long as we have a polygon on screen, we need you to stay in your safe place because it looks like the storm may be trying to reorganize. It has collapsed. The rotation has significantly weakened from the point that we had the tornado warning issued. As of about 4 minutes ago, the Weather Service said this tornado warning remains in effect until about 3 o'clock. Northeast Henderson, southwestern Benton, eastern Carroll, and northeastern Decatur counties. The storm is now going to be located 7 miles northeast of the Wildersville area, or 7 miles north of the Natchez Trace State Park, moving east at 40. So again, they're keeping this warning here because as quickly as this storm kind of fell apart, it may start to re-intensify on that rotation. So likely what they're going to do is watch this for another 5 minutes or so. If it stays on the weaker side, we can hope that they cancel this tornado warning early. That does include northern Decatur County. So right now, you guys in northern Decatur, just play it safe. Let's go in our tornado shelter for the next 5 to 10 minutes. Let's see if they let this warning go early. Either way, you're going to be in there for 15 minutes. I don't think they reissue this for Decatur because we'll notice how far north that storm has jumped.
Yeah, and that's good news, of course, for our friends in Decatur. Henderson County is pretty much out of in the clear with this. But what I want to kind of set for folks here that may be just joining us on our streams this afternoon, in terms of timing, when we're talking about this overall cold front moving in today, are we on the leading edge of this right now, or are we looking at an afternoon full of this? Is this that very distinct line that we often see? Kind of where are we in the life of this storm?
Great question. So we're going to switch off of our local radar just for a minute. Let's go back to the west and turn on our Memphis NexRad radar to take that just a second to load that data in. And this should not last for the rest of the afternoon and all the way through the evening hours. What I think we have happening right before our eyes, as you can see now on the Memphis NexRad radar, this is likely going to be our main tornado concern with this broken line of thunderstorms that extends from the Clarksdale, Mississippi area back up through Hernando, Mississippi, and then the broken line of non-severe thunderstorms through Jackson right now, and then the 2 tornado warning storms that we've been talking about here in our local area, and then, of course, the big tornado that's already impacted northern Tennessee near the Clarksville area. What I think we have happen is we're going to have to stay on high alert for the next few hours until we get the main part of this line east of our local area. I think what's going to probably happen is we'll have another maybe secondary line starting to fill in because this is likely the cold front back here in northwest Tennessee. That's going to be a lower tornado threat and likely a little bit higher damaging wind threat as that blows through later this afternoon and this evening. Could we have some spin-up tornadoes in that part of the line? Of course, but I think the tornado threat is going to be lower after we get this first initial wave east. So again, between right now and I would say 4 to 5 p.m., I think is probably going to be our highest concern with tornadic activity. And then it shifts more to a possible I know we're in a drought, but we may have some localized flooding this afternoon because we're going to have a lot of rainfall coming down in a very short amount of time.
All right, let's bring up real quick our severe weather alert system and really kind of dig into some of these warnings. And let's start with the one that is closest to us here in that is most recently issued. And you can see the outline on your screen there. This is where it is in relation, I think is that to the Tennessee River, yeah. And so this is kind of showing you the whole area here. But this is the tornado warning for southeastern Houston County in Middle Tennessee and northern Humphreys County in Middle Tennessee. This is in effect until 3:15. And at 2:39, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near New Johnsonville. That's starting to really move, by the way, or Camden. That's just where it started. And so this is radar indicated rotation. And so again, we want to talk about areas such as Waverly, that's part of this. McEwen, you're going to be seeing impacts from this in less than 10 minutes. So this is already through or over most of the Waverly area. And now we're going to be talking about the impacts to McEwen around 3 o'clock today. And so that is what our alert system is showing as the very latest. You see some other ones here, some other ones. Come on. We see some other warnings here. I have an echo in my ear, folks. I'm trying to I'm trying to fight the echo as well. So you see the Arkansas tag here. You see the Mississippi tag. So these appear because we're getting in data from both of our main National Weather Service offices to not only see what's on top of us, but what's coming and what is the power of some of these storms. So in Mississippi right now, they have the severe thunderstorm for DeSoto, Marshall, and Tate County. And look at this tag here. It says considerable. So Drew, walk us through when we see this, considerable tag coming in on our alert system. What does that mean for us?
Specifically, Will, if you flip back to that real quick, notice over to the right, that's our impact tags that you were talking about earlier. So that is because of hail. So notice the purple tag there, 2.5-inch hail. That's tennis ball size hail in that storm just southeast of Memphis in December. That's pretty crazy because we can get hail here year round, but typically you don't see tennis ball size hail unless we're talking about those spring or summertime, very, very intense thunderstorms. So like we just stated maybe 5 or 10 minutes ago, the dynamics with this system seem to be a little bit higher than maybe earlier anticipated, which means not only are we talking about potential tornadoes for the rest of the afternoon, but if you have a tennis ball size hail come over your vehicle or your place of business or your residence, it's a really bad day. So, we need to make sure as these storms get closer, you are preparing for all impacts, possible, localized, probably short-term flooding, damaging wind gusts, possible tornadoes, and yes, we have the threat for some pretty large hail today as well.
All right, so we had this active tornado warning right now. Houston, Humphreys counties, that's a lot of our focus right now. 14,000 people wrapped up in this current warning, and that is what we are showing you and using several different products here. You see Waverly there, almost in the middle of your screen. And show us what that light green means that we see on our screen, or tell us rather, Drew, what that means.
Perfect. Yes, Will. Basically, again, we're cutting off all the rainfall. We're cutting off all the noise of the radar. So there's your rain mode. If there's any hail, that's going to be confined just north of Waverly. Downtown Waverly, it's going to be close, but right now it looks like maybe the strongest part of that rotation is going to stay literally 1.5 miles to 2 miles north of town. We're splitting hairs there. So anywhere in or around Waverly, I need you to stay in your tornado shelter because this thing is practically on top of you now. Have a couple different areas there. The brighter the color, the stronger the rotation. So one area here north of Waverly along State Highway 13. Another area of rotation more west of town, about 3 miles west of Waverly. So we're going to have to watch both of those from the same thunderstorm. And if I had to guess, this westernmost part is likely the stronger rotation. Maybe a little bit of noise that we're picking up there north of town because it's not technically in the right spot. So we're going to weather nerd on you here for a minute. We always try to match up when you're seeing us flipping back and forth. We look at the rotation product, and then we make sure that that matches up with where that rotation should be in a thunderstorm. Well, typically in supercells and even non-supercells, you don't generally have rotation out on the northern edge of the storm. It's going to be back here in this hook echo west of Waverly. So more than likely, that's going to be your main area of concern. Again, moving right near Waverly and out US Highway 70 over the next 10 to 15 minutes. So Waverly, you're still in the crosshairs. Can't give you the all clear just yet.
We do like it when we can see some of these warnings start to tick away from the severe weather alert system that we have. And at the bottom of your screen, or in the middle, I should say, at the bottom of the list here, you see our earlier tornado warning that was originally issued for Benton, Carroll, Decatur, and Henderson County. That just has 6 minutes left on it. So that's some good news for those areas that we're going to hopefully have that expire very quickly, and most of the concern that was originally issued with that is going to go away. But as I say that, we now have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning. So let's talk about this and bring it in here on the alert system. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for northern Dixon County, southwestern Montgomery County, southeastern Houston County, and northeastern Humphreys County in Middle Tennessee until 3:45. Now, as this is starting to march kind of northeast, it's going to slowly leave our what we consider our viewing and listening area. So we're not going to hang too long with this particular system. What we are waiting on and what we are watching is this remaining tornado warning here for Houston and Humphrey County, and it is expiring in about 20 minutes. So as soon as it is allowed to expire, that's when we'll wrap up at least this initial part of our coverage. But there is still plenty to watch on this, Drew, because we see Waverly, McEwen on the screen. We still have that tornado warning active for those areas. And the one that you see there just to the west of Waverly, that other red box, if you will, that is the warning that is going to expire here in just about 5 minutes. So good news there for a good portion of Interstate 40. And now we continue our focus with our friends in Waverly.
Correct. And we're not, if you're not hearing us say your town name or your area name,
that's a good thing.
That's always good news. Correct. So I don't want anybody to think we're forgetting about you. Centerville down to Linden, down to Waynesboro, Savannah, Lexington area. As you see, as we zoom out there, you guys are good. We don't want to say, I used the all clear wording earlier. I don't like that because we still got the tornado watch in effect.
Until 7.
Correct. But as of this time, you're good. Continue your afternoon plans. Keep us on here. Have a way to receive weather information, and we're okay still. Again, from Decaturville, Parsons, Linden, Centerville, all the way down to the Savannah and Waynesboro area.
And so many of us have family as well in these areas, and we have friends in these towns, and so it's good to just say, even though it's not right here in our backyard, we all go to Waverly all the time around here. They have a Walmart. So these are our towns too. These are places that we go frequently, and they're not that far away. So it's important for us to go ahead and highlight some of that. You're saying?
Oh, the good news, if we have any good news right now, notice the new polygon that you just talked about there does include Waverly all the way out to the Sladen and the Charlotte area. I'm thinking they may actually be getting ready to let this tornado warning go maybe a little bit early because notice how they overlap. So anytime we see a severe thunderstorm warning box overlapping what previously was a tornado warning. Oh, look, we just lost that tornado warning polygon for northern Decatur.
Good.
So
it sure did, and took it
northern
off
Decatur
screen as well.
Yep, just a few minutes early. It went till 3 p.m., but they did cancel that early because that storm is much weaker still. So now Decatur County, northern Decatur County, we can now give you guys the all clear. Camden down to Holiday, Parker Crossroads, Clarksburg, we were talking about earlier. You've still got storms in the area, but the threat for a immediate tornado has lessened, and they have now canceled that tornado warning for northern Decatur County. Tornado warning does continue for the Waverly area. Like I said, Camden, you guys are all clear from that particular storm. Eva, that storm is east of you. The New Johnsonville area, that storm is east of you guys as well. But Waverly out to the McEwen area still have a tornado warning in effect that goes until 3:15 p.m. So I need you to continue to stay in your safe place. I know you're probably getting a little restless now. I've got kids. I know they get bored and they're like, what in the world is going on? But just stay in there for a few minutes longer because that area of rotation now looks like it's passing just north of Waverly and just north of US Highway 70 that goes east and west through town. So, again, just stay in there. And, Will, I don't like that. Did you see that?
Yeah, sure did, with that latest update.
Latest scan got a little bit more intense on that rotation. And if you're watching along with us, if you're not listening on the radio, you saw those green colors get a little bit brighter. So anytime we see that, that just lets us know that, like we said, these thunderstorms are like us. They're alive. They're ingesting warm air and they're exhaling cool, rain-cooled air. and they will go up and they'll go down. And unfortunately, we've got a little bit stronger rotation now northeast of Waverly. This is about 2.5 miles northeast of the downtown area. So still close enough. Need you to stay in your safe place just a little bit longer.
Meanwhile, we're taking a live look at our Commodore Cam in downtown Linden, and looking good. Nice and dry, no rainfall at all. You see a few clouds there in the distance. We actually had a peak of sun about an hour ago, but everything looking nice and dry here in downtown Linden. I want to take you back to the alert system for just a moment because we had, it looks like, Drew, the National Weather Service taking note and notice of the same area that you were looking at in terms of this possible strengthening, possible rotation, now issuing a new severe thunderstorm warning, and this is going to be in effect until 4 o'clock. But this is for western Dixon County, Houston, Humphreys County. Again, this kind of starts to move a little bit more out of our listening area, viewing area. But this one's going to have some time with it. This is not moving as fast as some of the others that we were tracking in terms of this has 61 minutes remaining. So we have a full hour here, folks, on this severe thunderstorm warning that's going to be impacting, let's see, places like Dixon, Waverly, Camden, New Johnsonville, McEwen, Burns, Hurricane Mills, Charlotte, parts of I-40 near the Tennessee River. So this actually is bringing, I need to correct myself there, this is actually development that we have not been really looking at yet, separate from the tornado warned area that you were just talking about. This is development happening a little bit to the west of that, right?
That is correct. So these storms are just kind of all over the place up there. And notice all those polygon boxes. If you're watching along with us this afternoon, that is a lot of severe thunderstorm warning polygons.
Yeah.
They are. They're piling up. And again, we can't ignore that because damaging wind is sometimes just as dangerous as a small Ian tornado. Think about if you're driving down the road and you have trees start coming down all around your vehicle, it's a really bad day. So, don't want to ignore these severe thunderstorm warning polygons, which you see here are orange if you're watching along with us this afternoon. And then, of course, the red polygon continues to be our tornado warning there near the Waverly area. Will, I was trying to see if we had any update from the Weather Service on that, and I haven't seen anything, but the good news right now is I don't have any damage reports coming in. So, so far, I think we've had a rotating thunderstorm coming in near Waverly, but I don't have any indications just yet. It may be a little bit too early, but I don't have any damage reports coming in for the Waverly area. So definitely some good news there.
Yeah, and this is all kind of stacking up, by the way, on our radar site. And that's a good thing. It's a bad thing. It's a good thing in the fact that everything around the radar, we have a really good, clear, very close picture. But so many of these storms just today are stacking up over this brand new radar site. And folks, I'm going to give you a little bit just to kind of pull back. So if we were to take, say, the Nashville NexRad radar on screen, we would see a whole lot more rain statewide than what we've been showing you. But the reason why we've kind of been focused on this Waverly I-40 area, not only is because that's where some impact locally has been, but that's where this new radar system is that we have first access to bring you this coverage today. Now look at the screen how this has changed, because you see so much more rain, and this is using the National Weather Service office radar there in Nashville. So look how much more of the scope that we do have. However, the farther and farther you get away from these radars, it's looking higher and higher in the atmosphere. The beauty of what we've been showing you here throughout the day, even though the scan is not as far, we're having really hyper-local data. And so when we're talking about our neighbors here in Linden, Perry County, Decatur County, Hickman County, all of this, Lewis, we have a new resource to really be able to zoom in and bring you coverage from our backyard in a way that we have never, literally before this weekend, ever been able to show you publicly. And so this is why, if you say, well, I have you side by side and I'm looking at a different radar and it says this, that's why, because it's a completely different product. And I want to bring you in real quick. And Drew, if we want to switch back to locally, we can, because we have a new tornado warning. So let's dig into this. I'll read this off while he kind of zooms in on the area, and we have a refresh there. This is the National Weather Service office issuing a tornado warning for central Humphreys County until 3:30. At 3:01, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near New Johnsonville, or 7 miles south of Camden, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. This is radar indicator rotation. So you could have flying debris with this. It could be dangerous to those caught without shelter. So this is the time to move inside if you are inside this warned area. This will be near New Johnsonville around 3:05. It's going to be on you right now. New Johnsonville, continue to go to your shelter. Stay there right now. Hurricane Mills, up near the interstate, you're going to need to have shelter with this as well. This is going to be near you in about 3:15. Waverly, once again, poor Waverly. Waverly, once again, 3:20 is going to be impacted by this. Other locations from this tornadic thunderstorm include I-40 near the Tennessee River. And this is I-40 between mile markers 136 and 142. So take cover now. This is a radar-indicated tornado warning. 27 minutes left on this radar-indicated tornado warning. It's fresh here on the alert system. You see it catching our attention. About 12,000 people wrapped up in this particular warning, and that's what we're going to be tracking for you live now on our radar, and we see it there on your screen. You see that this has not entered the area, of course, where they've just issued this warning. We're wanting to sound the alarm. The National Weather Service saying, those of you in New Johnsonville, it's on you now. Waverly, it's coming. And then, of course, that little southern area there near I-40 could be impacted as well.
Good news, as you were saying that, Will. Now, our original tornado warning has been dropped, but Waverly, that doesn't mean anything for you because now you're in the second polygon. You just got a brand new one. So we were hoping we could give you all clear and hoping we could tell you to come out, but Waverly, time for round two. Hopefully we can dodge the bullet on this one as well. But yes, this is an anticipation of the thunderstorm that's moving back into the area, crossing the Tennessee River right now as we're looking at our different sources. And rotation is still there. I think probably what the Weather Service is anticipating is, remember we talked about these storms that are intensifying and then they'll weaken and then they'll intensify again. We lost the warning, the storm had weakened, and now they have reason to believe that it may start strengthening once again, and it may be just about ready to produce another possible tornado as it moves into the Waverly and the Bold Spring area between now and the next, what does that go, about 25 more minutes on that storm. So,
yeah, and here at the top of the hour, we welcome all of you watching and streaming along with us here across our family of stations, WOPC FM, WNKX FM, WLVS FM, Sunny 106.5. What we're doing is relaying information to you real time from the National Weather Service and through our alert system, and also give you a visual on this with the help of our severe weather specialist there, Drew, this afternoon. Drew, just real quick, let us know, you've been at this game for a while, your experience with these radars. You are a reliable, valuable source of information to help interpret what we're seeing, marry that with the messaging that we're getting from the National Weather Service just to really convey this. And we're not here to tell you what we think is going to happen. We're just here to show you what's taking place in real time.
That's correct. And you have so many different sources of weather information available to you. We appreciate you tuning in because, yes, I'm going to date myself a little bit. I've been doing the radar stuff for most of my life and really full time for the last 20 plus years. And having this new technology, not only with the software that we have, the software has been around for a little bit, but when you partner this software we're using with a brand new radar here in our literally local area,
backyard,
this is weather coverage like you've never seen before because, again, we are seeing that lowest level of the storm like we've never had access to when it comes to weather radar technology here in Tennessee. So what we're looking at again is the storm coming south of the New Johnsonville area. And as we flip over, we're not going to take all the colors off. We're just going to look at the possible rotation. They're small, but notice the several little areas of green south of New Johnsonville. That's our area of concern. Camden, you're getting storms still, but you are not included in the second polygon. So you guys have been really playing that lucky penny today because you've had hail. You had 1-inch hail earlier, quarter-size hail there in town, but you are not included in the second warning. But the New Johnsonville area, Waverly, down to Bold Spring, you guys are. And again, like we talked about, if you're anywhere near the I-40 and the State Highway 13 junction, That's about where that polygon is. So if you're listening to us on the radio and you can't really visualize what we're talking about, you can't jump over to YouTube and watch our coverage. I totally understand. We don't want you driving down the road trying to watch your phone, but that's why we're trying to give you the information you need. So again, near I-40 and State Highway 13 and points north all the way up through Waverly, that's going to be our area of concern with this tornado warning polygon.
And we have a lot to cover because let's pull up our alert system here, and you can see it is busy this afternoon. This is another product that we're able to offer you the moment, the millisecond that we have a warning issued from either the National Weather Service office in Memphis or Nashville. It'll appear here on the screen. And so what we're tracking for you right now is this tornado warning in Humphreys County. It is in effect for another 21 minutes. 12,000 people were involved in this radar indicated tornado, and it's going to last until 3:30 this afternoon. And so we're talking about places like New Johnsonville, Hurricane Mills, Waverly until 3:20 for the Waverly area. And again, Interstate 40 between mile markers 136, 142, all of this here, our neighbors to the north. This is what we're watching right now. A fresh severe thunderstorm warning coming in for Benton and Carroll. And so this is going to be for northeastern Henderson County, southern Benton County, southeastern Carroll County, and West Tennessee. So this is going to start to once again move into our area. It could intensify, but don't be fooled, folks. A severe thunderstorm warning is something to take seriously. Just because you say, oh, I'm not under a tornado warning, it doesn't matter, I can go. No, severe thunderstorm warnings are very powerful, standing alone, and it's still something to shelter as you can. You may not need to shelter in the same way of a tornado that has rotation with it, but still, go inside, stop those activities, and be prepared for things to blow around a little bit. We're going to have this one in effect until 4 o'clock today. A severe thunderstorm located 7 miles northeast of Wildersville, 8 miles north of Natchez Trace Strait Park, moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. So we're talking about Camden once again, Holiday, let's see, Yuma, Buena Vista, and so and the Forest State Park as well, wrapped up in this one. So we're going to be watching that as it develops and starts to move across our northern counties as well.
Well, this is something we haven't looked at yet today on the radar product. This is actually out of the NexRad because our radar is so close to this thunderstorm, it can't look straight up and see what kind of hail is in the storm. So if you're near Holiday, right now we are tracking a hail core just west of town that our radar is indicating possibly a little bit larger than quarter size hail will be moving into the Holiday area over the next 10 to 15 minutes. The bad news is this storm is also rotating. So if you're in Holiday, what I need you to do is, even though this is a severe thunderstorm warning that we're talking about, Will, did it have that tornado possible tag on it? I didn't even pay attention, to be honest with you.
I'm not seeing that on the alert system.
Good deal. Perfect. Well, that's good news. So we do have the hook echo. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Nope, keep going.
We do have a hook echo showing up. We do have some weak rotation. So if you're in Holiday or extreme northern Decatur County, now Decatur County, you are not included in the severe thunderstorm warning polygon, but it's going to come close to that northern part of Decatur County. So if you're anywhere between Holiday and northern Decatur County that we were just talking about a few minutes ago with that initial tornado warning, go ahead and move inside. Don't necessarily have to go to your tornado safe place yet, but be ready to go if a tornado warning is issued with little to no advance notice, because again, we are seeing a little bit of rotation in there, and that's going to be coming right across the Holiday area over the next few minutes.
And Drew, we do have that tag on the severe thunderstorm warning that was issued just before that also includes Benton County. So folks, if you're hearing a lot of the same counties over and over, it's because we have a lot of development in the same area over and over. We have at least 2 different severe thunderstorm warnings affecting Benton County. Benton County. And then we also have Henderson County wrapped up in that. I'm getting confused here, I think, on my screen with Benton, Mississippi, so I want to be careful about that. But we've had Humphreys County affected. A lot of these same areas. Dixon has had 2 warnings because we have different polygons in those areas. So, yeah, we're naming a lot of the same things. But look at what's happening here, folks, over New Johnsonville and Waverly. Let's zoom in just a little bit closer, and we can show a lot of this kind of heavier activity. This is the scene of our active tornado warning that is in effect for 17 more minutes. We have 12,000 of our neighbors wrapped up in this warning right now, and this just continues to hammer New Johnsonville. But look how close the center of our radar is, so we can bring you just fine detail of this weather that is happening right now over the New Johnsonville area. And still a good little line, well concentrated area of storm activity there, Drew, that continues to really hammer that area.
For sure. There's two things we want to talk about here on what we're looking at. And if you're listening to us on the radio, I want to be as clear as we can. I think we're probably going to have some damaging wind issues at the bare minimum south of the New Johnsonville area, possibly all the way up into town. Because what we're looking at on radar, if you're watching along with our video stream this afternoon, we've got a little bowing segment that's coming out of this bottom part of the thunderstorm, the very southernmost part of this tornadic thunderstorm. And that's what's trying to enhance our rotation just south of New Johnsonville. So we're flipping through all our different radar products we have available to us. We are literally right on the radar. And the good news is I don't see incredibly strong rotation. We do have rotation there, but we're so close. I mean, literally, we are looking at about 500 feet above the ground with our radar beam here. So as of this moment, I don't see anything that would indicate we have a tornado on the ground with this storm, but we always want to assume that one may drop at any minute. So New Johnsonville to Waverly to Bold Spring, that little triangle of area, I need all of you guys to remain in your tornado shelter for the next several minutes because this storm really means business, and it looks like it's trying to reorganize and possibly produce a tornado at any moment.
And this is a nice little encouraging word here just coming in from the National Weather Service in Memphis, that they are giving the all clear to Shelby County in Memphis for the rest of the night in terms of severe weather. So this front is rocking and rolling. It is coming on through the area. Once it sweeps through, we'll be on the backside of this. We're going to feel a little cooler around here, of course, but the severity will be gone for the night. And so, wow, look at this detail here, folks, that we're able to show you around New Johnsonville. I mean, you can really pick out your own farm from here. You can pick out your own street, and that's why we have this incredible new resource to be able to bring you to really give you street-level reporting on exactly what could be areas of concern in a way that we just simply have never been able to do before, and is so detailed. But that is the area, that bright green there, is where we could really have some wind issues, you say.
Definitely some, if not a tornado, definitely 50 to 60 mile per hour damaging winds possible. And again, the area of concern just east of the Tennessee River now. It crossed over the river southeast of New Johnsonville. So if I put my cursor on the highest rotation area, 5 miles southeast of New Johnsonville is the strongest rotational area. So if you know anybody southeast of town, they have a heck of a thunderstorm coming over them. And as we look at some of these velocity pixels in there, we're seeing 55 to 60 mile per hour winds possibly in that part of the thunderstorm. So like we talked about, this may be a lower end tornado that's trying to drop out of this thunderstorm, or this could be just simply straight line damaging winds coming southeast of the New Johnsonville area. And again, we're seeing easily 50 to 55 mile per hour wind gusts on our radar. Just got an update, and yes, we're still in that 50 to 55 mile per hour wind range. And again, we're looking southeast of the New Johnsonville area. So friends or family members out there, that's a heck of a thunderstorm, whether it has a tornado or not.
And according to our severe weather alert system this afternoon, we have that tornado warning for Humphreys County, what we're looking at there, still in effect and for 13 minutes. And Drew, I think it's 50-50 at this point whether that tornado warning gets reissued based on what you're seeing there.
I agree. We're at that point of the storm where it could go either way. It could really ramp up and produce a tornado at any minute, or it could start collapsing and trying to reorganize, and that rotation might get a little bit weaker. So, yeah, definitely good call on that.
Absolutely. So here's a little bit wider view this afternoon. Now, you see so many different little boxes there stacked on top of each other because they're all trying to focus on different storms developing along that line. And so you have some counties that have a couple of different warnings issued. And so there's a larger view. What we're doing, are we switching radars with this? We going to the Nashville beam? Yeah.
Just for a moment. Yep. I want to look at the hail in here. So not only do we have a tornado damaging wind threat, there likely is some hail in that storm southwest of Waverly. And the storm, notice the hail core. Like I said, I keep switching because when it's right on top of our radar, we can't really see the hail product when it's that close. But coming just into the Holiday
Wow.
area
Yeah, look,
now.
just north of Holiday there, folks.
Yeah, notice on the colors, if you're following along with us at home, the purple that we have here is the heavy, heavy rain. That anytime you start to see this bright pink and especially the black color on radar, that's some significant hail that's potentially falling out of that thunderstorm. And the same thing up here near Waverly, the pink shading is your hail that is falling out potentially ahead of that tornado that is now coming between New Johnsonville, Waverly, and Bold Spring.
Yeah, so a lot to pay attention to. A lot of this happening for our neighbors to the north, but we have a great resource that happens to be in their backyard. And so we appreciate those of you sharing out this stream this afternoon. Just in case folks are around, they're not near a TV, but so many of us have YouTube on our phones. We have Facebook on the phones. You can share this stream if you have anybody in these warned areas that may be under some of this weather here this afternoon. Invite them in to watch the stream along with us this afternoon, because we'll explain to them what's happening, give them a little bit of a visual. And this is a quad box here that we have not seen yet, Drew, but this is very interesting to look at. What are we looking at here?
Quickly wanted to make point, the earlier tornado that was just north of Waverly, it's technically out of our area, but if you have any friends or family members up northeast of Waverly, we're likely about to see a tornado warning issued for that storm. So notice as we take this forward.
It may have just happened.
Perfect.
So let me just interrupt you real quick, and let's read off this new information, because it may have been one of those areas that you were just talking about. Then we'll get back to that coverage. This is a tornado warning for northern Dixon County in Middle Tennessee, southeastern Montgomery County, east central Houston County, and northwestern Cheatham County. This is going to be until 3:45. So this is starting to move northeast out of our area this afternoon, but it may be some of what you were just tracking there. And so we're talking about areas, again, Dixon, Montgomery County, that are wrapped up in this. So to our neighbors there, really in the northeastern part of our listening area and our viewing area, that's fresh tornado warning. It is in effect for another 25 minutes. About 14,000 people wrapped up in that one. And we're still watching the 10 minutes left here on this Humphreys County storm, because as we've been showing you, and I just we'll get back to Drew here and give you the visual, is this severe thunderstorm warning that is still over the New Johnsonville area, and more trouble kind of brewing to the east, the west of that, excuse me. We could see a fresh tornado warning issued here in this 9-minute time period.
For sure, and definitely we're going to combine basically our two radars now. So this is the Nashville NexRad. This is, before we got access to the radar. That's as good of a view as we would have been able to see near New Johnsonville and Waverly. And again, that beam height here, that's looking about a mile above ground. So there's definite rotation in this thunderstorm. But as we switch back to our local radar here, and it'll take just a second for it to swap back over, we'll see what's happening at the ground, because again, we don't really care what's happening a mile above our head. We want to know what's happening here at the surface where we live. So let's look at the rotation product as we get our radar data loaded back in. It's the same spot. Notice the green here. But the good news is I think we have very strong rotation in the mid and the upper levels of the thunderstorm, but that's not translating all the way down to the surface. And that is great news. Yeah. What that means to us is if you're looking at the storm, you'll probably literally be able to see this storm clouds rotating and spinning right in front of your eyes. But that lowest few thousand feet is likely where we are struggling just a little bit to get that rotation to extend all the way to the ground and produce a tornado. Now, when you hear that, I don't want you to think, oh, that's great. He said there's no tornado. Let's run outside. No, please don't do that, because tornado warning continues. And again, this could intensify and drop a tornado at any moment. Looks like we just got an update on that wheel. As of 1 minute ago, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located over Hurricane Mills or near Waverly, moving east at 45 miles per hour. And again, this is a tornado warning that remains in effect until 3:30 for central Humphreys County.
Okay, so a lot happening here this afternoon. Put on that view. Yeah, I was going to say, let's pull that one back up, so because I don't want anybody to glance at this screen and say, "Oh, there's nothing there." No, there definitely is.
Yes, exactly.
We are just showing you different products, different aspects of the radar data that tell us different things and tell you different things about what is really happening out there. And so you still see Waverly included in this box. According to our alert system, they have about 7 minutes left in that. and then, of course, a new warning that you start to see there in the top right of your screen. But that kind of gets out of our immediate viewing area, and our friends in Nashville and elsewhere are going to handle those folks. We want to keep our neighbors here in our local viewing area with this powerful new resource that we have. And keep you updated with exactly what we're seeing outside of our backyard. But if you look at the wider picture of what the state is dealing with, or at least our region here, boy, look at that screen. Almost a full screen of severe thunderstorm watches, warnings, and tornado warnings. Now, some of these are stretching all the way back to Mississippi. Some of these are issued out of the Memphis office. But the reason we track these is because eventually they're likely going to swing this way, or at least start to affect some of the counties in our area. And here's what we mean. So you see the alert system on your screen right now in all these different areas. Here's what that translates to on radar. Because when we take this larger image from the National Weather Service radar in Memphis, boy, look at how much more we have trailing behind us. But the difference is, with a new radar system that we have closer, that we can give you just a little bit more detail. But this is still a lot of energy, a lot of punch with some of these storms here this afternoon, especially just south of the state line there.
Exactly, Will. And for right now, and I hope that does not change, no current warnings in the section of the line from Summerville to Bolivar, Tennessee. If you're listening to us on the radio, trying to paint the picture of what we're looking at for you. Henderson up through Jackson and Lexington. That's where our line of thunderstorms is going to be. So the good news I've got for you right now, this looks like this is going to be the primary line of storms. And once this is east of our local area, we can go on about our business and not have any more severe weather issues for the remainder of the night. As you said earlier, Will, Memphis all clear. Front has moved through. Jackson proper, all
Looking
clear. That storm looking pretty good. Storm line is now in eastern Madison County there in Tennessee. Now I am watching that area southwest of Henderson. So we do have a hail indicator.
If you can, a little bit there to
sure.
Lexington, Henderson, because it's still going to be rainy, still going to be noisy. These fronts, when they move through, pack a punch, and it's going to be all or nothing. You're going to have peace, and then you're going to have noise, and you're going to have heavy rain, maybe a little bit of hail, and it's going to slide on through.
That's it. And I am noticing there again, southwest of Henderson, Tennessee, there is a little appendage. There's a little hook echo inside that line of thunderstorms. So we'll have to watch that area. We're noticing about quarter-size hail being possible. There's no warning just yet.
Well,
but
that's changing. Not for those areas, but as we were talking earlier, and I'm going to go ahead and bring back on our trusty alert system here, because our prediction looks like it's coming true here with this. And again, not our prediction, but us talking back and forth about based on what we're seeing here. But this is a tornado warning now for southwestern Dixon County and east central Humphreys County in Middle Tennessee. And what Drew's doing in the background here is he's going to pull up our powerful new local radar to be able to show you what this is over Humphreys County yet again, because this is a brand new tornado warning just issued seconds ago. At 3:24, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Hurricane Mills, near Waverly, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. This will be near McEwen at 3:35. This could also touch parts of the interstate, I-40, between mile markers 164, 165, 168, some of those areas there. So we have 34 minutes, as you can see on your screen, 34 minutes remaining with this storm, and here's what it looks like. And you can see, boy, 3 tornado warning boxes stacked up on each other right now, all watching different aspects of this line that are coming through. The one that we're talking about is the one that is kind of in the center of those 3 red squares, and that's going to be the freshly issued tornado warning there for Dixon and Humphreys County for another 33 minutes. A good 10,000 people, especially McEwen, very much pay attention in the McEwen area for this development because that's what they're concerned about, Drew.
I think so. McEwen over to Tennessee City there. Bullseye for this potential tornado that may be dropping at any point, or it may already be on the ground. This is pretty significant rotation northwest of Bold Spring, southeast of Waverly. But if you're in Waverly, if you're in Bold Spring, I don't care if you think you're out of it. Let's go ahead and take shelter just in case, because this storm is rotating and it's getting stronger, as we speak.
Yeah, and so there's just a lot to talk about very close to our radar site all of this that we are, as we kind of reset the stage here for you just before 3:30, folks. We have a lot going on. Just take a look at our alert system, and that will paint the picture of how many different watches and warnings that we have that we are keeping focused on this afternoon so far. One of those, two of those, being two active tornado warnings for Humphreys County. One is about to expire in about 2 minutes. That's why we just got this fresh warning issued, and it's going to continue to encapsulate mostly the McEwen area. But if you're driving anywhere, if you're coming up right now from, let's say, I-40 to Waverly, you're going to still be in the backside of this. And certainly if you're traveling, if you have family traveling from Waverly to McEwen, they need to know about this. They need to, and Drew's kind of zooming in there, right there, that those bright greens, that's the area of concern. That's where we could have some rotation, and that's why this warning is active right now.
Definitely some areas still 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. Now, is that wind blowing in a straight line around the storm, or is it spinning in a tornado? It does not matter, because that will still do the same amount of damage to your property. So, yeah, we're easily seeing 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gust in this storm southeast of Waverly. Just crossed State Highway 13 south of Waverly, so it will be interesting to see if we start getting some damage reports. Would not be surprised at all to see trees, power lines down, that type of damage there along State Highway 13 south of Waverly. So what we can do right now, if you are along Highway 13 or west, this storm has now moved east of the highway. So as we're looking at the street level here on radar, technically you're still in the polygon, but just to get your bearings on where the storm is minute by minute as we get these sweeps in from our brand new live radar we have access to here, the storm has now moved east of Highway 13 and is now southeast of Waverly, Tennessee. It stays south of US Highway 70 for now. Not a lot of population, it looks like, out in that area. Very wooded area, very hilly terrain out in there as well. North of the Bold Spring community and south of Waverly and south of the McEwen area, that is where we're talking about right now. So if I'm anywhere along US Highway 70, east of Waverly, that's where the concern is going to be. This storm is moving northeast and may affect you in the next several minutes.
And we are getting some questions on Facebook at this hour. What about, of course, where we're located here, our studios, Perry County, Decatur County. And so that's not, here's the view. So you see Linden there in the middle of your screen, for those of you who want a little bit of context, of course. So we're looking at an area north of I-40 is what we're seeing on this local radar. And Drew, if it's possible to keep this same view, and maybe let's go to the Memphis radar and start to show folks what's really coming up in terms of what's brewing in Henderson County, or Henderson, I should say, and coming up to the state line, because we will see some of this rain move through here eventually. Now see, look at everything that is moving through, just now leaving the Memphis area. It's going to be coming through Selmer, through Henderson, through Savannah. So those of you in southern Decatur County that said, well, I haven't even had rain yet. Hold on. Because you see now this well-defined line that you see, that's our cold front. And so it's going to continue to push to the east. We're all going to get a little rain. We're all going to get maybe a rumble of thunder. The question's going to be, can we at least escape any type of severe tag with some of these storms? On the southern end of this, as we're looking right now in real time, looking pretty good in terms of severe tags. What we've been watching is in the north areas there near Waverly, and that's been the concern because we've unfortunately had a little bit of rotation indicated in some of these. I shouldn't say little. We've had some considerable areas of rotation indicated in some of these areas, and so that's why we've seen the National Weather Service issue these warnings, both severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings this afternoon ahead of some of this. But yes, rain, hang on, for Decaturville is happening. Perry County, we're going to get it. And the question's going to be, will it move through and just be rain, or will it have any severe warned aspects with it? So we're going to stay on with you here, folks, because we still at least, let me slide over to our alerts. So we still have 28 minutes left on the tornado warning that is affecting Humphreys County. So anytime we have a tornado warning in our area, we're going to stay on with you. and make sure that you get the information you need, not only out on the on the radio, but you're also going to see it here through our streams to kind of give you a better visual on that. So we're going to stay with you from that aspect, and also just kind of watch this system as it moves through the area and make sure that we don't have any severe development along the line that will be affecting us here in Decaturville and Linden. But certainly, we hope to be able to say you're just going to get rain, and sometimes that's a good thing, right?
That is correct. And I was looking, Will, as you were talking, you saw me peeking back into North Mississippi. You guys, friends and neighbors down near Savannah over to Waynesboro, there is more rotating thunderstorms in Northeast Mississippi that we'll have to keep an eye on specifically for you guys. May stay a little bit south of Decaturville and Parsons, but got a solid line that we were looking at there in West Tennessee. It's going to bring more of a straight line damaging wind with a few spin up tornadoes possible. But then we have more of those big supercell type storms back in Northeast Mississippi that might slide into the southern part of our listening area this afternoon. So we'll be here for a while. Hopefully we'll get a break between round one and round two. But like you said, Will, definitely more storms on the way.
I'm grinning because I have my alert dogs here in the studio, and they walk back and make appearances on camera every now and then. Look, we're all here watching the weather together. By the way, let me show you exactly what it looks like out the door, no matter where you're streaming from today. This is our Commodore Cam live here in downtown Linden, one of a network of cameras that we are building across our listening and viewing area to be able to show you conditions in real time. So we appreciate our friends at the Commodore Hotel and Cafe in Linden. You can see the skyline there behind you, still some white puffy clouds, looking pretty good. Just a gentle breeze moving the flags there, so not anything to be concerned about in downtown Linden this afternoon. But we will have some rain on the way, as our radar is definitely showing us at this hour.
That is correct. Will, quickly some good news for Waverly.
They need it.
Waverly, you are technically out of the tornado warning polygon now. So if you've been in your tornado shelter for almost an hour, I can now give you, for the time being, let me stress that, for right now, you can come out, take a breather, get some refreshments, get some snacks for the kids, get a dog bone for the animals. Right now, you're out of the polygon. This is now north of Bold Spring and out towards the McEwen area is where our most significant rotation is. Waverly, I said that because we're tracking, Will, what is this, storm 3 or 4? We got another storm southwest of Waverly. I've lost count. I don't know how many we've had, but Waverly, right now, we're hoping that next storm stays south of town, but stay close. We're not giving you the all clear for the entire day just yet, but you can come out. McEwen, not yet. The storm is still southwest of you. And the Tennessee City area there along U.S. Highway 70, we're still watching this rotating thunderstorm with that rotation. And what I'm going to do, one of the new features here with our program, I can actually, we just got new scans. So let me move that. We can draw a storm track on this part of the rotation. And what I'm doing, I did not mean to do that, Will. I apologize. We're making us dizzy here on the stream today. The line you see, that is the approximate track of that rotation. So as you see that little white line coming right across Tennessee City, and notice the little dash there, that is a 15-minute mark. So in about 15 minutes, the strongest part of the rotation looks like it's going to be right on top of the Tennessee City area.
And it appears that we have had some damage with some of these storms that have moved through earlier, and I'm quoting here my colleagues at Fox Weather with a particularly dangerous situation tornado warning that was issued near Dresden and Gleason in Tennessee just after noon. This takes us back a little bit, but there is damage reported in some of these areas, and so this is coming in the town of Rutherford, Tennessee, not Rutherford County, but the town of Rutherford. And so there are some buildings that have been damaged there, and so that is from more of central West Tennessee area that had some of the very first warnings that were issued today. But it does appear that we had some definitely some damage in some of those areas. The town of Rutherford and Gleason, unfortunately, seeing some documented damage in these areas. And so certainly after all of this, I'm sure that our colleagues at Fox Weather And then certainly our local stations will also have a more complete picture of some of this damage because it has unfortunately happened in some parts of our state. But you're looking at a wide view here, friends, of everything that's affecting us. This is our local weather radar that's coming in from near Camden, and it's giving us a very close view of everything happening with a tornado warning that is still in effect for Humphreys County. 22 minutes left on this. And as we're talking in real time, you see that red square. It's getting smaller and smaller. It's maybe moving a little bit. That is the National Weather Service drawing that, not us. And it is showing where the warning area is, who's going to be impacted. And so the smaller that area gets, that's good news. And then sometimes when they feel like the rotation has ended, they'll actually allow these warnings to expire early. But for now, we still have about 22 minutes left in this. And Drew, you are pulling up some fresh information there.
Just got a new update from the Weather Service. You can see there, tornado warning remains in effect until 4 o'clock, as you stated, for southwestern Dixon, east central Humphreys counties at 3:35. So just a couple of minutes ago, the severe thunderstorm that we continue to talk about, capable of producing a tornado, is located near McEwen or 10 miles east of Waverly now, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. So again, this is a radar indicated rotation. This thunderstorm will continue to move northeast and remain over mainly unpopulated areas of southwestern Dixon and east central Humphreys counties, according to the National Weather Service. But again, we are seeing some hail being indicated in this thunderstorm. Our local Doppler radar estimating maybe dime to nickel size hail there, about 10 miles east of Waverly, where we have that rotation. So damaging wind gust, possibly 50 to 60 miles per hour, some small hail, and again, a possible tornado at any given minute may drop out of this thunderstorm as we continue to track it across Humphreys County. Now, what we're going to do just for a minute, Will, we're going to go back and we're going to look at this second storm that's southwest of Waverly. No tornado warning currently on the storm.
Good.
We do have a severe thunderstorm warning, western Dixon. This is going to be also for southeastern Houston and Humphreys County. That's a severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 4. That's the one we talked about earlier that literally went for a whole hour. Mm-hmm. That's going to be the storm near New Johnsonville. Damaging wind gusts to 60 and nickel-size hail will be the primary threats, and it looks like that may stay just south of Waverly. So good news there. But if you're along and south of Waverly, State Highway 13, we've already talked about you once with this tornado. Now we've got another rotating thunderstorm with potential damaging winds that's about to cross the same area south of Waverly along State Highway 13.
And you see on your screen there, we have a tornado warning, Humphreys County. That's what it says on your screen. It says that because we still have an active tornado warning for just a little while, 20 minutes. Another one coming in as we're speaking, but this one's going to be out of our coverage area. But this is going to bring it. You can see where Clarksville is on your screen there. And so this really starts to move more into the Nashville metro coverage area. But if you see that come up, that's what we're talking about. So here we have I-65 or 24. This could be 24. And then we have I-40 here. And so this is going to start moving in more towards the coverage area in Nashville. But I wanted to, just in case you see this icon appear there for that tornado warning, that's what that's all about. We are still going to stay with this one right here that is in effect for just a few more minutes here. This is 19 minutes remaining on this particular tornado warning, and that's what has our attention right now. And this is what we're going to stay with you until it has left our coverage area. And hopefully we can leave you with just some sights and sounds of rain without too much trouble. And this is a live look downtown in Linden right now from our Commodore Cam. You see some dry pavement, but that's going to change, I have a feeling, when this rain moves through here a little bit later today. Drew is switching radar products here, so we go to the Memphis, radar product, and you start to see either side of this. Now look, folks, here between I-40 and the state line, we're going to have some rain, but it's looking pretty good right now. But you get south of the state line, and have a little bit more severity with these storms. So we're going to have to watch how they track, because are they going to hold their intensity as they start to come up through parts of Savannah, Waynesboro? That's what we're going to keep on the table, and we'll keep an eye on that. But certainly if there are not warnings associated with this, we won't be wall-to-wall with our coverage like we are right now. But until these warnings expire for our neighbors here just north of I-40 in the Waverly area, we're going to stay here with you. But look, there it is, just as clear as day. There's your front moving through with plenty of trouble along the way. Lexington, you're feeling it right now in downtown Lexington. I wish we had our little camera there. We'll get one up before too long, don't worry. But that's the rain moving through. Parsons, you're going to be feeling this here shortly. Decaturville, our friends there, Scotts Hill. It's probably getting pretty dark there in Scotts Hill as you have the clouds building up in that area as well. So all this is going to be sliding kind of northeast as this front makes its way through most of the Tennessee River Valley this afternoon, Drew.
That's right. And as you said, good news, no warnings on that part of the line, and we hope we can keep that way. Most concern just southwest of our listening and coverage area, that storm in North Mississippi that's going to be heading towards the Pickwick and Counts area south of Savannah, probably in about an hour and a half. So if you just noticed a minute ago, I drew a storm track line. That line goes out 1 hour. So well outside of our coverage area, Corinth, Mississippi, a possible rotating thunderstorm should be arriving somewhere close to that town in the next 60 minutes or so.
This is not the fastest moving line, is it? I mean, normally these things really roar through here, but this line is taking its time this afternoon. Not a great thing.
Not a great thing, because I think if we saw that line increase in forward speed, that would lessen our tornado threat a good bit, because then we'd have a more widespread damaging wind potential, but not as much time to spin up these tornadoes. But yeah, you're exactly right, because that is an embedded supercell you're looking at there on your screen in North Mississippi that's kind of being absorbed into the line of thunderstorms. So we hope that weakens before it gets to Savannah or Hardin County or Wayne County. But again, guys, we haven't talked about you a whole lot today. Just wanted to let you know we are watching those thunderstorms down in North Mississippi, and as they continue to get closer to us here, we will keep you updated on that.
And as we speak and we kind of look across the area at how this is affecting our neighbors, Channel 4, WSMV, and Nashville reporting multiple injuries reported in Clarksville, Montgomery, about a tornado that passed through, really damaging, if not flattening, some homes. And Drew, this was an area we were tracking early on. When we really kind of started our coverage, we did not have the intensity that they had moving through Clarksville, Montgomery County. You were concerned about that storm? Sure enough, it seems like it did some damage there. So WSMV reporting definitely some damage to our neighbors there in Clarksville, Montgomery County this afternoon.
Sure will. And what I'm going to try to do really quick, Will, but with that storm in east of Waverly still there, still holding its own. So we'll go back in and do some street level tracking on that. But what I want to quickly do here is see if we can take a look at that Clarksville tornado on the archive radar data, because you will just see, if we are able to go back that far, how strong that tornado was as it come through town. So it's going to take just a second for this data to load in. Really concerned about that storm north. Let's see. Yeah, we've had another tornado reported here, northern part of Dixon County. There you go. So this is a very strong storm northeast of our listing and coverage area.
Is that
tornado is possibly, that is as of about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah,
so northern part of Dixon County
and that's still getting their attention, because I want to pull up our alert system here, because as you are seeing it there on radar, the National Weather Service reacting as well with a fresh tornado warning, 30 minutes with this one for central Dixon County. So friends, if you have people that are shopping, they've been out in Dixon County, they need to seek shelter at this time. This is a new tornado warning for central Dixon County, southern Cheatham County in Middle Tennessee until 4:15. This does include White Bluff, Pegram, Ashland City, Dixon, and Burns. And it's going to be closest to Dixon and Burns at about 3:50. This is talking about less than 5 minutes here. And so that is coming across the wire, just as Drew, you were mentioning it there. And wow, so look at this. Look at that trail that you're talking about. Help explain to people exactly what they're seeing there.
So we haven't shown this just yet, but again, so many new radar products that we're going to be able to bring to you here. This is the Nashville Weather Service radar, and this is not real time. This is showing the track of those rotational products inside the thunderstorm. And Will, if you remember when we were talking about this radar product yesterday, I said I really start getting worried when we see that red color on rotation. And again, it perfectly matched up, because here's the strongest part of that rotation for that thunderstorm, and there's our tornado report there, northern Dixon County. And now, as I turn off the kind of the history and look at real time, that is where the tornado is likely still on the ground there, is far northern Dickson County, Tennessee, moving up towards the Pleasant View area. And if you notice here, we've got more trouble. Look what's west of Dickson.
Wow. Yeah.
The town of Dickson.
And that's what we were just talking about. So we're talking about a 5-minute window, less than 5 minutes now, of suspected impact for this in downtown Dickson. And folks, we're talking about areas that have already seen damage today. We were just going through some of those damage reports. Take this seriously. This is, again, still kind of a little, but look at how clear of a path we have there of, is that radar indicated rotation that we're talking about?
It is. This is not showing the rain, not showing the hail. This is simply the rotation, and this shows the history. So notice it is not weakening, and it's literally holding its own.
Right towards Dickson. Yep.
Right towards Dickson. So that's why I really like to turn that product on, because it allows us to see without a loop kind of where that storm is headed. So yeah, this is a very serious situation for Dickson, Tennessee, because if we don't have a tornado on the ground, we may have one at any point with that. We're going to switch back to our local radar and take a look at that as well.
And we have now 2 active tornado warnings encompassing parts of Dickson County. The good news for our immediate area, actually, make that 3. All 3 active tornado warnings have some part of Dickson County, so that's where a lot of the focus is right now. But for our friends here in our immediate coverage area, including Humphreys County, we only have about 12 minutes left, and that polygon is moving. It's shrinking in size, so it's going to be not too long for you see the McEwen area there. It's not going to be too long before we can actually start to breathe a sigh of relief in some of these areas if we don't have, I mean, just look at what's happening south of Waverly there. Another little flare-up. Maybe we have some new life down there to watch as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. But this Humphreys County tornado warning has only about 11 minutes left on it right now because we have so many friends and family near the Dickson area. A lot of us travel there. Let's really take this seriously. If you have neighbors there, friends that you know, maybe somebody's out doing some Christmas shopping today. It is a Saturday after all. Make sure they know how significant of a situation this is in terms of now 3 different areas of concern for parts of Dickson County, and really some possible rotation heading right to the center of downtown Dickson.
That's it. And if I can give you any good news, Humphreys County, it looks like, Will, correct me if I'm wrong, there's the county line there just west of the Tennessee City area, and it looks like now most, if not all, of this rotating thunderstorm has now moved east of Humphreys County. We'll wait to get the official word from the Weather Service to give you an all clear, because you still are in that tornado warning polygon, but they should be updating that here any minute to take Humphreys County out of that tornado warning. Still concerned about that storm south of Waverly, but it's not quite as impressive on the rotation as our first storm moving towards Dickson.
And as we look at our alert system here just very quickly, you can see the expiration of some of these. And so this is what has been the focus of a lot of our coverage right now. And that's been for the Dixon-Humphreys County tornado warning, just 10 minutes. So we're watching that countdown clock there. 6,000 people, though, 6,000 of our neighbors still wrapped up in this. And so that's something that we're going to pay attention to until we officially get the word from the National Weather Service. But this impressive span of intensity here that is just over the Dickson County area is definitely something to continue to watch.
Just want to keep zooming out really quick to let everybody listening and watching know we are not talking about you. That is good news. So we're still okay from Centerville down to Linden, down through Savannah, Parsons, and Decaturville, the heart of our listening and coverage area here.
Yeah, here's Linden.
Most of the storms. Yeah, beautiful.
Here's a very peaceful view of Linden. You can see the flags just barely moving. So that's the picture out the door there in Linden. So yeah, you're right. We're not experiencing any type of severity here, but that doesn't mean just a county away. I mean, you see, there's the kind of the regional look. Very peaceful here in Linden, but that's just not the case all along areas just immediately north of I-40. Much different situation there, and especially traveling that highway there from Waverly, Highway 13 coming up just has been caught up in round after round of this afternoon, and now more of this moving towards Dickson.
That is the strongest rotational couplet we've seen all day on our local radar, just southwest of Dickson, Tennessee. So I really hate what I'm seeing. If we need to take this seriously, I know we've said it time and time again, but we literally only have minutes away from a possible tornado coming right through Dixon, Tennessee. So if you have friends or family members that don't pay attention to the weather, if they don't have weather radios or any way to receive weather information, please send them a text message, give them a call,
Yeah.
let them know. They literally have, oh goodness, and it's, as we say that,
Right.
it's literally
It's
moving
just
into
moving. It's
town right
moving that
now.
fast.
Yep.
And so there it is, folks, right over downtown Dixon. Now, we're not saying that this is a confirmed tornado on the ground. We do not have that indication. We don't have that
Mm-hmm.
ground, witness yet. But there it is, just outside of downtown, maybe even in downtown, but still very close to a very populated area in our listening area, our neighbors there that could be experiencing some of this afternoon. And Drew, this is probably starting to get on the edge of what would be our local radar scans. It's still
Mm-hmm.
clearly visible, but this is kind of on the edge. So we're going to widen that out, and what he's doing now is pulling in some of the information from the National Weather Service NextRad radar in Nashville, because with this we get a much better picture of what could be. Look at the different, yeah. So look at how much that scan changes. But what are you seeing from that? Okay, see there again. So we now have both of our radar systems
Mm-hmm.
telling us the same story out of Dixon, Tennessee right now.
For sure. Let me set one setting here. There we go. So yes, near. It's literally, we're splitting hairs to say where this is.
Yeah.
Near or just north of Dixon, we have a very intense rotation. And again, what we're doing, the radar product you see there, we're not looking at rain because we don't really care where it's raining. We care where that rotation is inside the thunderstorm and the possible tornado. So the red shading you see there near Dixon, that is going to be where we have the strongest rotation and the most concern right there near or just north of town. So both radars are showing really the same thing. Our local radar will, if you notice that on the velocity product, was showing greater than 60 to 70 mile per
Right.
hour winds coming through Dixon. I didn't want to say that exact number because we're not, that may be a little higher than it is at the surface, because even with our local radar, you're looking at about 1,000 to 1,500 foot above the ground in Dixon. But at that level, it was painting over 80 mile per hour winds up in the clouds, up in the sky. So how much of that is being blown down to the surface, we don't really know. Hopefully not a lot. But again, the concern is rotation and a possible tornado now moving through or about to just move out of the Dixon area.
And as we kind of back up just a little bit, we want to update you that we have less than 5 minutes remaining on the tornado warning that is in our immediate listening, viewing area, which is why we're bringing you this coverage here this afternoon. Because once things really start to get into Dixon, you have a whole lot of other resources. You have our Nashville TV station friends and somewhat that will and so on that will bring you this additional coverage, and they are certainly following this very closely, as you can imagine, in real time. But just because this is so close to our county lines, and these are all areas where we have friends and family, it's worth staying with this here for just a minute. We definitely want to give this latest tornado warning, or this the earlier tornado warning in Humphreys County, the one that expires in about 5 minutes, the chance to go ahead and expire and move on out of the way. Once that happens, then we'll start to scale back what we do. But we're not going anywhere. We're going to continue to still keep an eye on everything that is to the west, the southwest, coming up from the state line, because what we're starting to see develop along the state line right now is going to move on up into our area. And so, of course, that's how the focus is, and that's how the pattern is with these cold fronts as they move through. And you can see them there, even some severe thunderstorm warning boxes appearing there along the state line. So where will those track? Hopefully not anywhere near us, but if you're in Collinwood, you're in parts of Savannah, you're in parts of Loretto and maybe Lawrence County. Of course, you have some weather resources there as well. It's going to be worth watching and tracking that as it moves through that area, because the story's not over there, nor is it for Decatur and Perry County. And so as this starts to now track through Lexington, it's crossing over into Decatur County, Parsons, parts of Lobelville now, the very northwestern part of Perry County, finally starting to see some of this rain. We're going to have it here at our studios before too long. And so this will be, just something to watch as it moves through this area. But I don't want you to feel like that we are having a severe level of storms over our area yet. You're going to hear it. You're going to experience it, of course. But it's nothing like what we're seeing right now in Dixon, because, boy, it's just a different story, even 2 counties away.
That's right. And again, we keep saying we hope we keep it this way because right now, the section of the line that you're talking about there, Will, from I-40 all the way down to the Tennessee-Mississippi state line near Middleton, Tennessee and Walnut, Mississippi, we continue to have no severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings in that part of the line. And that's what's going to be pushing through the heart of our listening and coverage area here. So we are crossing our fingers and our toes that we can keep it on the just below severe limit side for the remainder of the afternoon. But please don't let your guard down just yet because any of these thunderstorms may intensify as they continue to move into the area. But again, yes, the Dixon storm and then the storm in North Mississippi that looks to be heading towards the Savannah and Waynesboro area in an hour or maybe a little bit more, either ends of our listening and coverage area, the north and the south, that is going to be the greatest concern over the next little bit.
And Drew, this is a familiar story to us. Those of us who have lived here in Tennessee and these southern states for a while, this is the clash of the seasons. This is winter trying to roar in, and the warmer weather trying to not give up quite yet. And so that's what we're seeing here is these cold fronts moving through, causing these issues. And December is, you might want to think this is the Christmas season and all we can talk about is snow and freezing rain. That's just not the case. December is a significant time for severe weather as we're seeing take place on our screens right now.
You're right. Historically, we've had so many storm issues in the month of December. Just a couple of years ago, we had the Mayfield, Kentucky tornado on December 10th. And here we are one day from December 10th, and we're talking about more tornadoes. So it seems like we always get either every year or every other year this big wave of severe thunderstorms with tornadoes that comes roaring through. You remember several years ago, Will, we had the big outbreak just a couple of days before Christmas. I believe it was 2015, if I remember correctly. Serious tornadoes through North Mississippi, Middle Tennessee. I know parts of Wayne County got hit bad that day.
Yeah, that may have been 2016 because that was the year that our radio station launched. And we actually launched early ahead of kind of a New Year's Day launch to try and address some of those storms. You're right, it was 2015. We launched in 2016. So, this was, and you remember, folks, that we were trying to help out people during Christmas that had just been affected by these tornadoes. So we say all that to say December is not just spring storm season. It is also, there's a winter storm season. As this season is changing here, we're welcoming winter. It comes in with a little bit of force, as is visible here. We do have confirmation of damage from a couple of parts of the state. Clarksville, Montgomery County, also towards Gleason. We've had some damage there. So, as you watch the news tonight on your local TV channel, you're going to see a lot of this damage in real life, what we've been showing you on radar. But right now, what we're here to do is convey the latest information from the National Weather Service. The boxes that you see, the red and orange boxes, orange are indicating severe thunderstorm warnings. The red boxes are indicating tornado warnings. Those are drawn by the National Weather Service, and they're showing you exactly where their warned areas are. So, McEwen, you are still in one for just a few more minutes. That may even drop here in real time. It's going to expire here any moment. But our focus for now and then turns to what is happening over downtown Dixon, and now moving actually out of downtown Dixon. This is now starting to become Charlotte's problem, and that's going to now really take it out of our viewing area. But I think there's going to be a story to tell, Drew, out of Dixon today.
Yes, and I hope we have the best case scenario, but either way, if we had a tornado touchdown or just damaging winds, it's going to be interesting to see some of the reports that we start getting out of Dixon. And again, Will, if you saw that just west of town, I had to just catch my breath for a minute because that looked like a really bad situation, and it looked like that maybe weakened as it moved into Dixon, but too early to say. So we'll be watching for reports coming out of that area. We're just literally trying to scan the storms now with our local radar. Good news, Humphreys County, officially, that tornado warning polygon has been dropped.
Yep, just
so we only have a
alert system. Great.
It did. Severe thunderstorm warning continues. Waverly down through the Bold Spring area. But Waverly, we've talked about you so many times today. It looks like once and for all, the line of thunderstorms is finally starting to push south and east of you guys in Waverly, in New Johnsonville. So Camden, we can give you the all clear. They'll be dropping your tornado watch here probably within the next hour or less. Cold front has moved through Big Sandy down through Parker Crossroads that we were talking about earlier with that first tornado warning that we come on with a little bit over an hour ago. The line is now pushed east of that area. So we're glad that we can give the area from Camden down through Parker Crossroads, and very, very soon, probably in the next 10 to 15 minutes, Waverly, you guys as well. Can't give you the all clear because you're still under a severe thunderstorm warning polygon, but as soon as that's dropped, that should be the last of the storms there for you guys in Waverly.
We're at the top of the hour. Folks, we appreciate you streaming along with us and sharing this information with your friends and family across Facebook, YouTube, X. We're live everywhere that we can be right now to bring you this information. Hyperlocal is what we're focused on. We are focused on the immediate counties here around the Perry, Decaturville, or Decatur, Hickman County areas, Interstate 40, and also our neighbors just to the north, Waverly, Dixon County, that have been the focus of so many of these warnings today. We're wanting to spend some time there as well. We did show you just for a moment there our Commodore Cam, maybe even looking like Drew, a little peak of sunshine, a little bit lighter there now in downtown Linden. And Linden, you have not seen the rain yet, but as we look at radar, it's on the way because we're about to see that now come to the northern part of Perry County over through Parsons. Already seeing that moving through the Parsons area. And what we're looking at, the picture that you see on your screen, the radar image is coming out of Camden. So this is radar that is extremely close to us. This is the first time we're ever be able to show this to you. Yes, we're going to have a campaign later that tells you all about it. But right now, the time was to get it on the air. Let's stream it out. Let's show people exactly what's going on, because this is an amazing resource that we have to be able to share with you through ClimaVision and our partnerships here to be able to bring this coverage to you. So you're seeing in detail storms like we've never been able to show them to you before. No app, no TV station has been able to ever show you this type of data, and we're excited to be able to be among the first to show it to you here, because it's going to make a big difference in how the National Weather Service sees our area. We've always been in the Tennessee River has always been in this area right between the Nashville market, the Nashville radar, the Memphis radar, and they just, as you start to get farther and farther away from these radars, their scans, their beams look higher and higher in the air. And so we can have tornadoes develop, lower level situations develop that the radars just can't see. And so they can't make accurate warnings if they can't see it. This radar, called a supplemental radar, is going to really help be a resource not only for us on the broadcast side and all of the weather weenies out there, but it's going to be a real, true life-saving resource for the National Weather Service as well. And so this is what you're seeing today is just the very start of the picture that this incredible radar system is going to be able to paint for our area. And so what you're seeing now, the rain moving through, but what you're not seeing, any severe weather alerts. And we are here for that. But just to our south, and if you want to, Drew, just for a few moments, let's take the Memphis radar, because we have a fresh tornado warning coming in, and this is going to be for, let's see, is that Alcorn, Mississippi? So this is what's going to be coming over the state line, and this is a story for us because it will eventually be our story for parts of our listening area potentially. And if it's not there yet, you will soon see a red polygon appear for this. But this is going to be a National Weather Service in Alcorn County in northeastern Mississippi and southern McNairy County in West Tennessee. So it's going to be right in the area. And I think we just had our first little lightning flash out here at the studio. So we don't need too many of those because we will lose power. That's what happens out here, friends. So this area that you're looking at right now, there is actually going to be there it is, just appeared on your screen, a tornado warning, and this is going to be in effect until 4:45. And so this is going to be something that we'll be looking at for the Savannah-Hardin County area as this starts to move in. So let's start to pay attention for those of you who have friends in that southern part of Savannah and Hardin County, and even towards possibly Adamsville. And you have the ability to track it. Why don't you do that versus me guessing? How about that?
Yes, there you go. So there's your people that's watching with us this
Yeah.
afternoon. If you're listening to the radio, what we're looking at, I'll visually describe this to you. So the tornado warning storm in north Mississippi just did a 1 hour storm track on the radar. And literally 1 hour from now, so by 5 p.m., whatever is left or whatever state this storm is at that time should be nearing southwestern Hardin counties. Now, you'll probably have some type of warning before 5 p.m. because they're going to want to give you guys an early heads up on that. But again, we're watching just near the Walnut, Mississippi area, west of the Corinth area, southwest of Selmer, Tennessee. Brand new tornado warning that does include that is McNairy County, Tennessee, and Alcorn County in Mississippi. And again, that is a radar indicated rotation. And the wheel on that scan, it seemed to jump a little bit further to the north. So Savannah, you guys need to pay very close attention to this as well, because right now it looks like it's going to stay in the southernmost part of Hardin County, but that could very well change between now and 5 p.m. And this could track more to the north and be an Adamsville to Savannah issue, and possibly as far east as Waynesboro if it continues on its current track.
And friends, right now this severe weather impact is on either end of our coverage area. And what I mean by that is our severe weather alert system now warning us about a new tornado warning that is happening that includes not only Dixon and Burns, but parts of Williamson County as well. Also, Interstate 40, parts of 840. So that is within, anytime you have that I-40, 840 area, that's going to be in the coverage area of our friends at WNKX in Centerville. And so that's why we are going to mention that, because it is still part of our coverage area here with WNKX. But we're also, of course, watching what is happening on the other end where we were just visiting, what's happening on the state line, because once that crosses into Hardin County, that then enters the coverage area of WLVS, our Sunny 106.5 station. So we have two different areas to watch right now. If we can widen the view just a little bit, Drew, and let's paint that picture for people as I switch from the alert system over to you. And you can see there, wow, look, stacked up. Multiple warnings still for the Dixon area. And it absolutely looks like now the southern portion of Dixon moving towards the interstate, in line for more trouble possibly. And so that's going to be something else to watch. And all of this is still staying well north at this time of Hickman County, of Nunley, of downtown Centerville. But this is still a significant area of concern now for Dixon County. They just can't catch a break today.
I tell you, these 1, 2, 3 punches in this area today, bless your heart, guys and gals up there listening and watching, because this is not really what we portrayed today to be in that area. It looked like it was going to be a one and done type of wave.
Yeah.
And the way this line is kind of laid over and just training on itself, we may have to start talking about a flash flood threat at some point as well, because multiple storms going over the same area, definitely not good. Well, we're going to look at Dixon real quick, and then I have horrible news for that area north of the Kingston Springs. Anytime we see that icon that looks like an upside down triangle with a line under it, that's the radar telling us that it is almost certain we have a tornado on the ground there. So quickly, let's look at Dixon. And then just to kind of train you guys that are new to this radar system we're using, I want to show you what we look for when we're looking for a possible tornado on the ground. So there's Dixon. That's the how hard it's raining mode. Heaviest part of the thunderstorm just southwest of Dixon, Tennessee. Likely some small hail in that part of the storm as well. Radar not seeing very large hail, but again, P to maybe dime size hail possible there south of the Tennessee city and southwest of Dixon, Tennessee. As we go look at our rotation product, there's our area of concern. It's not overly strong, but it doesn't have to be to produce a tornado on a day like today. So again, coming right into Dixon yet again, tornado warning for you guys. Now I'm going to back this up just a couple scans, because this is where on the original sale, the sale that moved out of Dixon initially and is now crossed out of our listing and coverage area, but that is a significant tornado indication north of White Bluff, east of the Charlotte area, and this is going to be north of the U.S. Highway 70 area. And when we go over and look at our possible debris, we'll check that out.
Yeah.
So
you don't want to see
that is what I was That
Yeah.
is what we were talking about yesterday. Anytime you see that white color, that is almost a certainty that we have tornadoes
Mm.
on the ground doing damage and lofting debris into the air north of White Bluff, Tennessee. And that is a possible significant, possibly a large tornado, because that's not a weak debris signature. Notice here, there's our radar saying, hey, look, we've got something in the air. And then as we go forward one scan, that is massive tornado debris that has been lofted. And now that is our latest scan. That is a PDS tornado warning that has just been issued, not for Dixon. So we're talking about two different storms. If you're listening to us on the radio, this is the original storm that moved out of Dixon. Looks like maybe it did not produce a tornado in town. It's likely got a large confirmed tornado on the ground north of Kingston Springs and north of White Bluff. Will, as we keep it on that product, notice what I don't see near Dixon. So
Yeah.
as of right now, the good news for you guys in Dixon, we still have rotation coming into town, but I don't see any sign that we have tornado debris being lofted into the air for you guys in Dixon, Tennessee.
Which
That's not
product
to
are
say
you
that
on
we
right
don't have
now,
one
Joe?
drop. This
Which
one here,
Yeah, which product are you on right now, or which
that's
radar?
this is Nashville. This is
Okay.
Nashville Next
Look,
Rep.
and friends, keep in mind this is moving very quickly towards downtown Nashville. You see it there on the corner of your screen. Look how fast this, if it holds together, is about. And now Davidson County is under a tornado warning, as you can see on your screen. Look at all of this moving in towards Nashville. And so
And again,
I kind of just have to look at it in awe. I mean, this is not our coverage area. We're going to get back here to our backyard in just a moment. But these are all neighborhoods we know. And when we talk about a debris signature, I want to kind of back up and expand upon that a little bit, Drew, because for folks that don't study radar and this terminology, the radar can, and correct me if I'm wrong, it can kind of tell the difference between what is rain and then what is not rain. What is precipitation, what is natural, and what is not. And when it sees objects that are larger than possible hail or possible rain, it starts to then put in this debris signature saying that's not rain. That's something being lofted into the atmosphere. That's where we think you have a tornado, and that's what we're seeing now in this area.
That's exactly. So I rewound the radar, a couple scans. That is a possible debris ball, that purple ball you see there. And what Will just said is exactly correct. So radar says this is a lot of color. We don't show this a lot because it can be a little bit confusing. This is a product. Its name is correlation coefficient. It's like, what in the world does that mean? All that means to you is everything you see in this dark shade of color is rain or hail. Anytime you see a dropout, as we call it, this area right here in the middle where we see the blues and the greens, that is, as Will just explained, that is a radar indicated debris signature. Radar saying, hey, look, this could be trees. This could be parts of people's houses. This could be vehicles in the air. This is something in that thunderstorm that is not supposed to be there. That's why it's able to tell us that we have debris being lofted. And again, there takes out all the noise, takes out all the colors, and it only shows us what is debris. And again, we have a significant tornado on the ground moving near the Ashland City and north of the Kingston Springs area. That continues to be a PDS, particularly dangerous situation, tornado warning. The warning text itself says a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located near White Bluff, Tennessee, or 8 miles southwest of Ashland City, moving east at 40. So again, a little bit out of our coverage area, but that PDS tornado warning includes downtown Nashville, Tennessee. So we can only hope that that lifts before it gets to Nashville.
As you switch back to our local radar and we kind of back out the picture just a little bit, we want to let you know that we do have some rain still moving to our area. We don't have the strength, the intensity that we've been showing you, but there's a live look from our Commodore cam showing you downtown Linden. Those are some of the lights coming on the courthouse. Here at our studios at WOPC in Pineview, the skies are dark because we not only have sunset, but we now have that rain activity. And you can see it as we start to kind of move in a little bit over on our local radar. So there's the picture from here at home, friends. You see Parsons, you see Linden on your screen, you see I-40 once again in Lobelville. And so we are on the leading edge now of that rain that's going to be moving through here. I have to be honest with you, we might lose power. If we do, the stream will stop. If it just randomly does, that's why, because we would have lost power. But what you don't see on this screen are any severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings, and that's good. We do have some levels of intensity, so we have, especially for northern parts of Perry County here, we're going to have some pretty intense rain moving through here. Maybe some lightning and thunder. We've had a little bit of lightning on. Do we have a lightning product on this?
We did earlier. Let's see if it's back to
I don't
life.
know. I haven't seen a whole lot of lightning out here yet as this is moving in, but certainly I'm sure it's around there. But so Parsons, downtown, you're about to experience a little bit of this as well. Looks like the closer you get down to Scotts Hill, Sardis, you have a little bit of a break, even though that line is still roaring through. It's just a little bit not as well organized. And certainly nothing like what we're seeing to the north there. But this is a different product here, folks. This is our local radar out of Camden. Brand new. The first time you're ever seeing it. It's debuting today. And we're happy that your local radio stations are able to stream this and bring this to you. This is a partnership we've worked on for a long time to be able to bring this coverage to you. And it's going to make a big difference in what the National Weather Service is able to see. This is a privately owned radar, but they're going to have access to it. And so they're able to see things that they haven't been able to see before, because this gives us a new digital eye, if you will, right here in our backyard to show you exactly what's developing in ways that we just simply haven't seen before. While Drew is kind of looking in on some of these images, I want to show you our alert system. By the way, this is also new. You haven't seen this. But what this does is within milliseconds of any warning being issued, we have it right here on this screen. And it gives us some very important data so that we can help tell the story. All of this is direct from the National Weather Service. I'm just the messenger, okay? So we have a tornado warning in effect there. You see from Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, and Robertson County, 300,000 people in that warning. Wow. And that's the considerable tag. And that's what we were just talking about there near Nashville. And this is, and Drew, this is as serious as it gets with a storm like this. We were talking about yesterday having no idea that these storms were going to flare up like this. You were talking about all the things that start to stand out to radar and to the National Weather Service, and we're seeing that here. And what are we talking? What do I mean by that? Terms like considerable, terms like observed. So this means the radar doesn't think it's there. Somebody has seen it, and it is doing damage in real time. Listen to this statement from the National Weather Service, the impact statement. It says, you are in a life-threatening situation. Wow. And that is, again, for the tornado warning that is happening around Ashland City, Jolton, and Goodlettsville. And so this is marching right towards the Nashville metro area and kind of on the northern edge of where WNKX, our Centerville station, reaches. So that's why we've got to keeping an eye on that. We reach downtown Dixon, so we've been keeping an eye on this as it is developed here this afternoon. But a full board this afternoon of serious weather, and any time you see an impact of 300,000 people in one warning polygon with something like observed and these debris signatures is just something to take very, very seriously. Let's fade in and come here back to our radar and kind of give you a wider view. And there you have the very dangerous situation to our north, Ashland City, Davidson County, Nashville. That's the very edge, almost out of our WNKX coverage area. And then back here at home, we have the cold front racing through, bringing some rain. I continue to hear thunder outside of our studios, so we do have some lightning associated with all this here. And what are we seeing there in terms of that? I mean, is that a real-time shot? So we're seeing
that is the icon has not updated just yet. It should update here in just a second. But that white dot is where we still have a large tornado on the ground doing damage. And that icon's bouncing around. Let me show you what that icon is based on. It's based on rotation, and we've got a little noise. So notice that bright red spot. We don't always just look at one product. So anytime Will's talking or I'm talking, you're seeing the radar flipping around to all these different views. You don't ever want to look at one product to try to figure out where a tornado is in a storm, because in this instance, notice where we've got our green icon, there's nothing there. So we're having a little bit of noise on the Nashville NexRad that's confusing that tornado icon, but all we need to do is turn off the rain and look at the debris in the air, and that is where you have your very large tornadoes still on the ground north of the Kingston Springs area, south of Ashland City. Thankfully, it's moved out of our area, but this is a horrible situation for Nashville and the northern part of town because we're really run out of time, Will, for this thing to lift before it starts impacting the highly populated area there around Nashville.
Wow. Wow. Boy, it's a different scene here for us right now in our backyard. Here's a live look in downtown Linden, nice and peaceful at the courthouse. You're about to have some rain roll through there, but nothing of the severe levels that we've been seeing. And as we have a really expanded view to show you on radar right now, that's the whole picture. That's the whole scene. Is this Memphis? Or is this Nashville?
This is our local radar.
This is our local radar. Okay, so there's you can see the scan, and we were wanting to kind of test this because we still have a pretty good scan all the way down there to Selmer almost. And so here's the whole picture of what is affecting our area, our backyard, from this new live weather radar that we have to offer you out of Camden in partnership with Climavision. And so you see there, Loboville, you're getting rained on. Pineview here in the backyard, we're getting rained on. But right now, especially as you look towards that Decaturville, Perryville area, Parsons, that you see it start to scatter a little bit more, not as well organized, not as intense. So it's important that you know the difference between what you may be seeing take place on your screen, what you've heard us mention tornado warnings so much today, but that's not what we're seeing here in our backyard. We just have a little bit of rain, a little bit of lightning. We're used to that. We can deal with that. There's no cause for concern right now. And if that changes, that's what we're here to do. But certainly, folks, think about your friends and neighbors in places like Robertson and Sumner County right now. We have a new warning that was issued for Robertson, Sumner County. That's with this situation that they're dealing with out of our coverage area. But Drew, what a day so far, and we certainly are going to watch to see what has developed in places just east of Dixon today.
That's it. And I'm just going to turn radar off for a minute and let the polygons, speak. That is a huge area. Like you said,
Yes.
That is a lot of people.
A lot of population.
2 separate thunderstorms there with confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornadoes on the ground near the Nashville area, Springfield, up to Portland, Tennessee, just east of the Pleasant View area. So, yeah, just really a worst case scenario, seeing how these storms have kind of converged on the Nashville metro area. Again, we hope and pray that they lift before they get to town, but we're quickly running out of time as those storms approach the I-24 and the I-65 corridors there around Nashville.
We welcome all of you that have been streaming along with us today from WNKX, WOPC, Sunny 106.5. You're seeing a lot of new things, maybe even some new faces on the screen today, a lot of new products. And we're doing this all to expand what we're able to offer you as a local radio station, as a local streaming provider, really to help keep our neighbors safe here. And we appreciate you tuning in and trusting us this afternoon. Drew Richards is the fellow that you see just above me there in our Brady Bunch boxes here. And Drew brings years and years of experience not only with the radar product that we are debuting, but also in the weather world. And so our jobs are not to always predict things. Our jobs are to convey what's happening in real time and also marry that with a visual. So here's how we're doing that. You see the other boxes here featured that show you our alert system, which is new, that shows all of these different hazards in real time, the millisecond. And I mean that just within moments of it being issued, even before you get it on your phone. In some cases, you're going to see it there. All right, well, now we have something to pay attention to for our backyards, because we now have a severe thunderstorm warning for Hickman, Humphreys, Lewis, Perry, and Wayne County. So let's get into it. I'm going to pull up our alert system here, and let's cut to this and talk about it. And here's the bulletin. National Weather Service in Nashville has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for western Lewis County, Wayne, Perry, southeastern Humphreys, and Hickman County until 5:30. At 4:24, a severe thunderstorm located from Hurricane Mills near Big Pond State Park I don't even know if I've ever been there. Where's Big Hill Pond? I haven't been there. And that is moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. And so we're talking about places like Hohenwald, Centerville, Waynesboro, Linden, Collinwood, all going to be in this. So, Drew, I'm going to let you take it away. This is, boy, this is a big polygon that was just issued over an area that I was hoping would not be too much of a concern, but the National Weather Service says not so fast. We're worried about it.
That's right. That is a huge polygon. You guys down in Wayne County still got a little bit of time. You know, Perry County, Lobelville, Linden, storms are moving into the northern part of the county now. Centerville, you guys down to Kimmins as well. Got just a little bit of time before these thunderstorms get to you. So if you have anything you're wrapping up, if you're out running errands and you got time to get home from Centerville down to Hohenwald, down to Waynesboro, it's probably going to be at least another 30 to 45 minutes, maybe a little bit longer than that, before we get the worst of this line of thunderstorms into you guys. Lobelville down to Linden, that is where we're going to see the thunderstorms first. And again, brand new severe thunderstorm warning, as Will just indicated. This is our brand new local Doppler radar that we have access to here in our backyard. Notice the strongest part of the line seems to be extreme northern Perry County here, where you see the purples and even a little bit of black there on radar. Notice that's our hail product. These out here are just noise, so that's just some radar artifacts that are not real. So notice when we flip back over to reflectivity, it's probably the radar beam is bouncing off of some hailstones in the storm. The radar is back up here near Camden, so it's likely hitting some hail here, and the beam is probably being refracted and bent back down to the ground, and it's almost like a echo over here near Centerville. So you can ignore that. That is not actual hail falling out of the thunderstorm just yet there near Nunnally and Centerville. One thing that I will check quickly, looks like we blanked the radar off. You're like, hey, why did you turn the radar off? I didn't. I'm looking for rotation in the thunderstorm. So notice we have just the weakest little rotation areas, and it's very hard to see near Lobelville, northern Perry County, out near the Pineview area. Weak rotation embedded here in the line of thunderstorms, but I'm not seeing anything to the point of me thinking the Weather Service is about to issue a tornado warning. So good news there. We expect to have all these storms rotating today. We've got a lot of wind shear in the atmosphere. So pretty much every storm, every shower is going to be spinning to a point, but I don't see anything to indicate that we have a significant amount of spin. And Will, good news as well. I don't see anything on our local radar here that indicates we have widespread damaging wind. So what I expect to happen here in this very large polygon is likely we'll have widespread 30, 40, maybe 50 mile per hour wind gusts as this initial line of thunderstorms moves in. And we'll have pockets of possible 60
And you mentioned
plus.
Pineview a moment ago. Of course, that's where we are at home base, hoping the power stays on, and observing some lightning out the window now. You'll hear the thunder maybe even in the background. My dogs have, because they're already under the desk here. And so those conditions are certainly now what we're experiencing here in northern Perry County. And as we look at this again on radar, folks, look at this big polygon that was issued with this line of storms as it moves through. And by the way, not moving all that fast. These are not exactly racing through the area. But this is a severe thunderstorm, and we welcome all of you, by the way, that are listening now on WOPC FM. You're listening to live severe weather coverage and we're also streaming, by the way, on Facebook and YouTube if you want a visual of this in your homes this afternoon. But this is a new severe thunderstorm warning for Hickman, Humphreys, Lewis, Perry, and Wayne County, pretty much our entire area. This is 53,000 people wrapped up in this severe thunderstorm warning. It doesn't expire for another hour, so we're going to be with this for a minute as it moves through and marches through our area. You see that there. The reason why this is a little bit more of a different radar picture is because we're showing you this brand new product that has a scan right in our backyard that's giving us all of this great imagery of what's happening here in real time. And then you probably saw when Drew was backed out just a little bit there, you probably saw yet another warning box to our south. So our system is bringing in warnings in areas that this particular radar is not scanning. So I just want to clarify that for you. That's not inaccurate. Those are also severe thunderstorms And he brings in there that product there out of Memphis. And Drew, this is now what we're seeing, and this can get us a full picture here of the whole line, not only what's on our back door and what we're experiencing now, but what's to come near the Corinth area. So Hardin County, parts of Savannah, you need to still be on alert as this moves through. It's going to impact you. But look at the, I mean, it's been a while since I've seen a polygon include this much area. But part of the reason why I would expect, and this is just kind of an educated guess, that the National Weather Service is doing this is because these storms have been, I think, at a little bit greater intensity than many of us thought. And they're not taking any chances. And they're not also taking any chances as to how quickly this can spiral out of control, because we've seen evidence of that all day in parts of northwest Tennessee. We're seeing it in Clarksville, damage reported up their area, and now we're seeing it in real time with damage being reported just outside the Nashville metro area, and that is now really on their doorstep in terms of Nashville. So we still have a pretty big alert board of warnings. The one that we're talking about that's closest to home right here is this one. And as we zoom in on it, it gives us all the information. And again, let's go over some of the areas here in our backyard that are affected by this severe thunderstorm warning. 57 minutes remaining on this one. And this includes Hohenwald, Centerville, Waynesboro, Linden, Collinwood, Hurricane Mills, Clifton, Lobelville, Bon Aqua, Flatwoods, Lyles, Bucksnort, Mousetail Landing State Park, Pinewood, Pleasantville, and Nunley, all involved in this severe thunderstorm warning for the next hour. And that is top here is the most recent issue. 53,000 people involved in this morning, and we see it really kind of coming together on our local radar system here this afternoon. Even though it doesn't have a lot of those signatures and a lot of the intensity that we've seen, I hope I'm using all my terms right there, Drew, that we've seen with some of these other areas, it's still enough for the National Weather Service to say we need to pay attention to this one.
That's right. And like we said, even though it's a severe thunderstorm warning, those can be at times as significant as your tornado warnings, depending on the type of damage we have. So if you're driving down the road, you guys know we live in the forest here in the Deep South. There's trees everywhere. The kind of good news, all the trees, with it being in December, most of the trees, of course, with the exception of pine trees, cedar trees, your evergreens, they've lost their leaves for the season. So the good news is they can withstand a little bit higher winds this time of the year than they can, in the spring and summer months when they're bearing a full canopy of leaves on them. So what I've noticed in several of these wintertime, severe weather events, we don't always see the widespread damaging trees falling on the power lines in the middle of winter like we sometimes do in the spring and summer, just because of the fact that the trees can bend a little bit more and don't have the weight on them. But again, you get one of those pine trees with the 60, 70, 80 foot tall pine trees going across a road, going into power lines, it's still going to mess some afternoons and evenings up. We'll have electricity crews out, of course, doing their thing, trying to get power restored. So best case scenario here with this polygon, we'll have widespread 30 to 40 mile per hour winds and pockets of damaging wind. And of course, worst case scenario would be this line intensifying as it moves through and us getting more widespread wind damage. But as of right now, Will, the good news is I still do not see any significant rotation in this part of the line of thunderstorms. So primarily a damaging wind threat. Can't rule out a few quick spin up tornadoes, and we'll definitely be looking out for that over the next several minutes.
And friends, sometimes the National Weather Service sends along what's called a special weather statement. It means this may not be a warning yet, but we're watching this, and this is one of those occasions. This takes us right down to the state line, right along the river. And the reason we are pulling it up and talking about it, because it is starting to come into our coverage area in southern Hardin County. And what they're saying here is that they are concerned about this strong thunderstorm that will impact parts of southern Hardin County until about 5:15. They have about 30 mile per hour plus winds, hail also associated with this. And so we're talking about places like Corinth, Pickwick Landing State Park, Walnut Grove, the Pickwick Dam. And so all of those areas are kind of in the path of this storm that they're watching, which could soon be warned. But this is about 40 minutes remaining. This is what's called a special weather statement that has come up here on our alert board in our alert system that we wanted to bring you in real time. And Drew, that happens sometimes. It's just maybe it hasn't met the parameters yet of what they would consider to be a severe thunderstorm warning, but it is still something that's going to make some noise as it rolls through. Worth paying attention to.
That's right, Will. I have a term, maybe a brand new term for a lot of you guys. Those storms are loud and proud, but they're not quite severe.
I like that.
They will get your attention. So that's
Yeah.
really why they use those special weather statements, because you'll have your everyday, summertime thunderstorms. It's loud and lightning and rain, but not a lot of hail, not a lot of wind. These are the type that you're like, whoa, what's going on? Do I need to be paying attention to the weather? If you're not, they will get your attention, but like Will said, they're not quite to that damaging level of either the hail or the wind. And
So
we're looking
that's
at that here on radar.
yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Will.
No, just painting the picture there, and yes, you're right. So that's what we have seen
Yeah.
on radar right now. He has it pulled up, and again, we have all of this now really kind of centering over our coverage area, over our counties, our towns, and so hopefully you brought in the inflatable ornaments. I've been telling you that now for a couple of days. This is certainly the type of occasion where if you haven't brought in Rudolph and everybody, this would be the time. And while you're looking at that, I'm going to just click over and read some of this information about the newest tornado warning for Davidson County, but don't worry about showing us yet. If you don't want to, just go ahead and keep it there in our area and walk us through what's happening in the counties in our neck of the woods.
Sure will. Going back to our local radar here, and again, strongest part of the line of storms coming right through the studio location there, Perry County, and northwest of the Linden area. We're going to go in and we're going to look at some wind from our brand new radar here. It's going to get a little colorful, all you guys that are watching here on our video stream. But the good news continues to be colorful doesn't always mean bad. So I see wind. There's wind in the line. But as I'm putting my mouse over these little colored pixels, I'm literally only seeing 25 to 35 mile per hour wind gust widespread in the line. At its strongest point, I'm not even seeing anything really up to 50. So very good news there. Hoping that all the highest winds remain elevated in the thunderstorms. So the way storms work is we'll have very high winds above the surface, maybe 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 foot. Winds are roaring right now, 50, 60 miles per hour with this line of storms at that level, but they can't always translate or push all that high wind all the way down to the ground. So you'll have very high winds just above the surface where we don't really care about. Where we live down here, the lowest few hundred feet, we may only be getting 25, 35, maybe 45 mile per hour wind gusts. But again, don't ignore the fact that we still have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. At any point up and down this line, we could quickly go from 35, 40 mile per hour winds to a quick burst of 60 or higher, which would cause, of course, some damaging concerns.
Two things I want to show you here as our coverage continues. We welcome everybody listening on WOPC FM. This is our ongoing storm coverage here for you this afternoon as we are under a severe thunderstorm warning in Perry, Hickman, Lewis, Humphreys, and Wayne counties until 5:30. This is a live look from the Commodore Cam in downtown Linden. You can see getting a little bit darker in the skies there, and I think here before too long we're going to have some rain to show you. And Drew, you're bringing in on the area that we're about to discuss, because first I want to pull up, and we're going to pivot just a moment, folks, because we don't have a whole lot of severity over our area. And if that changes, we're going to come right back to it. But what I want to show you is some of the wording being used over Nashville right now. It's been a while since we have heard terms like this. This was a new tornado warning just issued, has 35 minutes remaining in it. And this is for northeastern Davidson County, Sumner, and Wilson County until 5:15. This is a particularly dangerous situation, is what they're calling it. Again, this is for the Nashville area tornado. Their impact statement here. This is what is being conveyed across the National Weather Service alert radios and things like that, and maybe even on your phone if you happen to be in that area. It would say you're in a life-threatening situation. Flying debris is deadly to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be destroyed. And this is a confirmed on-the-ground tornado. A confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado located near Jolton, near Nashville. moving east at 40 miles per hour. This includes Green Hill, Bledsoe Creek State Park, Cottontown, Whites Creek, all heavily populated areas. And let's come back out here to the alert system, and you can see this is nearly 500,000 people in this one considerably dangerous situation. Observe tornado. This is what our alert system is telling us. Here's Nashville. Look at this huge area wrapped up in this, where they're trying to have people take shelter right now. So this is a significant situation for Nashville, something that I just can't help but think about right now. You have it on radar. You heard the warning there. Look how now close it's getting to. And this is now going to be very highly accurate data for Nashville. Look how close it's getting to the Old Hickory radar site there for the National Weather Service radar in Davidson County. Drew, what is this picture telling you?
Will, I have to assume the actual Weather Service staff is likely taking shelter from this tornado because they are included in this PDS tornado warning. So the Weather Service have backup offices in case this type of thing happens. So again, I haven't got confirmation of that, but it's going to be very near the radar site and the Weather Service office there in Old Hickory. Serious situation. Since we're so close to the radar, we're having a little bit of difficulty discerning what might be debris versus what is just noise in the thunderstorm. So what we're looking at here, notice again, we've got a lot of different dots or a lot of hot pixels there, north side of downtown Nashville. And this is coming into the Hendersonville, Lakewood, Green Hill, and the Mount Juliet areas there along and just north of downtown Nashville. And there's your hook echo. That is your possible debris ball if this thing is still on the ground. And again, what I want to do, turn radar off for our friends in Nashville just for a moment. And let's zoom into street level because notice where this storm is now. We have population.
I tell you what, we have hail hitting the building right now in Pineview.
Let's go check out the hail locally then. I hear that.
I pulled the car under the carport because that's what's coming here in our local product, and let's kind of remind people here, even though we're kind of dealing with a little bit different scale here in our backyard. We certainly have a little bit of heavy rain, but I heard some hail pellets hitting our windows here at the studio. Lightning could lose power with this, but Drew, certainly that is as that data kind of continues to move in. Folks that are listening to us on the radio right now, we're talking about a severe thunderstorm warning until 5:30 for Perry, Hickman, Humphreys, Lewis, and Wayne County. We're streaming along this coverage. If you want to see our new live local radar product, it's available for you streaming along on YouTube, on Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Anywhere you can find us, we're gonna be there for you. But certainly here in the northern part of Perry County at this hour, and you may be able to see it from time to time. I've got to get me a Pineview cam going. I think that's the next cam I've got to get up and going for us here, Drew. But absolutely, a little bit of hail action. Not a lot, but did you say you heard it? Could you hear it?
I heard it for sure. Yeah.
So that was
sound like it was maybe windblown hail a little bit. Do you have any wind there?
Yes. Yeah. And we're pretty far from what I call the downtown electric grid. It doesn't take anything but an excited squirrel to kick off the power out here. So if we disappear suddenly, friends, you'll know why. It's not because I decided to leave you. It's because, all right, so let's see if is it populating the data there from our local radar?
Not yet. I'm going to, and it's not NextRad either. So I'm wondering if we have a temporary hiccup in our data stream here. So I'm going to work on that.
Okay. While you do that, I'm going to take us on a tour of a couple of other products. And if I need to kick our new radar system in terms of the little box that I have here in front of me, let me know, and I will kick it. But I'll let you do your restart procedures. And but there's our downtown Commodore cam, everybody, live in downtown Linden. So you can see some of the cars rolling through at this hour. No rain yet for Linden, but boy, is it close because we have plenty of it here for you right now in Pineview. Let's go back and talk for just a minute about the overall big picture of warnings that are in our area for those of you who are listening on the radio right now and may not be able to see what we see. We do have several different areas of warnings at this time, and that includes Hickman, Humphreys, Lewis, Perry, and Wayne County. About 53,000 of our neighbors in this severe thunderstorm warning, and we still have 44 minutes left. And so this alert system you're seeing is a nice way to kind of visualize everything that may be impacting our area. And that's why we have it for you here. And this is the size of that polygon. And look here, friends, this stretches all the way from I-40, you can see it there, all the way to the state line. Look how big of a polygon that is, how big of a blob, because that is wrapping up all of the communities, really, and especially in WOPC's listening area, places like Hohenwald, Centerville, Waynesboro, Linden, Hurricane Mills, Clifton, Lobelville, Bon Aqua, Flatwoods, Lyles, Bucksnort, Mousetail Landing State Park. You're all in this, and this is because of a severe thunderstorm rolling through. And I say rolling through because it's definitely not racing through at this point. It is kind of a slow mover. And so that's why when we've had these warnings issued today, they have taken a while to expire, just because they are slow movers. But fortunately, even though we do have, and this is worth taking seriously here, the severe thunderstorm warning that we have, because now we can, and I don't have time right now to convey this to the National Weather Service, but we've definitely had a little bit of hail here in the Pineview area associated with this. But this is something that I folks just can't get over right now. How much we have watched the life of this storm develop just west of Dixon. We had what Drew was indicating earlier was a observed area, and looks like we have some data back, Drew. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that back full. We watched this develop, move through Dixon. We're waiting to see what this meant for the Dixon and Dixon County area, because likely there's damage there. And then from the area, folks, between Dixon and Nashville, the story just got worse and worse. And so now we have this tornado warning just north of Nashville, still 20 minutes on this thing. And we're talking about an observed, dangerous tornado that is impacting so many people. And when you look here on our alert system, look at this tag right here. This is nearly 500,000 people. Let me bring that back over. I'm sorry, friends. Here it is. So this right here, nearly 500,000 people are involved in this one tornado warning that still has 26 minutes left to it. A new one just coming in as I speak for Robertson and Sumner County. So again, yes, I know these are out of our immediate range, but we all know these areas. We all pass through these areas. Drew, as you've been now starting to get more data in, some fresh scans under your belt, what are you seeing?
Bad as it gets, Will. Hendersonville, Tennessee, north of Lakewood, now north of downtown Nashville. That is a debris ball on radar. Notice the hook. Notice the curl, the little circle we have southwest of Hendersonville. Then we flip over to debris, a very large white dot. And the worst part of this that makes my stomach sick is as we zoom in, these are this is a populated area there.
It's Goodlettsville
to Hendersonville is getting slammed with a very large tornado on the ground right now. So again, if you know anybody up in this area, I know it's outside of our local area, we'll jump back here to our backyard, but this is going to be a national news story of a very large tornado now moving through the Nashville metro area. And I thought maybe for a few scans it had lifted. It might have weakened. It may have briefly lifted, but now it's definitely back on the ground, moving right through Goodlettsville and Hendersonville, Tennessee. So just a very sickening radar view there in the Nashville metro area.
Wow. And there's just no way to sugarcoat that, ladies and gentlemen, just because this is a very serious situation for our neighbors in Nashville, not too far away. We've watched the evolution of this storm cut across the northern part of Middle Tennessee, north of I-40. We've been able to show you, Drew, we were able to show our viewers as this was developing on our local radar, which is what we switched to here in Camden. We saw it intensify, start to get to the edge of that, picked it up, and the story stayed the same, and it looks like it even got worse. But to reset, we're at 4:50 here. You're listening to live coverage across our family of radio stations, including WNKX FM and WOPC FM at this hour. We are staying on with you because we have an active severe thunderstorm warning for Hickman, Humphreys, Lewis, Perry, and Wayne. And that means the conditions have been met for a severe thunderstorm to be over our listening or viewing area, and that you need to be inside, off the roads, taking shelter during this time. We fortunately have not had any tornado warnings here for our immediate counties, although we did in parts of Waverly, and that's close enough. And certainly, boy, Waverly's gone through it today as well. But we have this large area that you see circled here in orange, encompassed in orange. That is what we're going to be focusing on for about the next 38 minutes or so until it's allowed to expire. We're going to also watch it as it moves towards Hohenwald and clears Centerville and the Duck River where you see there on your screen. Once it is allowed to move through that area, then it's really kind of moved out of what we would consider our coverage area. But in the meantime, we have rain, we have lightning, we have now even hail. And let's go in, take us on a tour of Lobelville if you don't mind, Drew. Let's go ahead and bring in, because we can go so much closer in so much more detail than we have ever been able to go before. And we can get you right down here to the streets of Lobelville. And folks, you're going to be able to see, there's the map coming in. There's the overhead. So you see downtown Lobelville covered over right now in the rain and the storms. Mm-hmm. And there you see the overlay of the actual radar scan. So you'll be able to see your farm. You can see your roads from here, and that's just incredible. So what are we seeing there right over downtown?
That is your backyard hail core that you just sent from the studio here in Perry County out to our good friends and neighbors in Lobelville. So that is that's our local radar. This is not NexRad, indicating that we do have likely at least pea size. Mm-hmm. Would that sound about right for maybe what you had there?
It sounds loud, but it sounds about right. I'll be able to know when I go out and look at the foot of the car in a little bit.
Exactly. Pea size at least, I would say, coming through Lobelville, maybe a little bit larger than pea size hail. And as you look, live radar just got a new sweep come around. It actually went down just a little bit in size. We lost that green color that we saw. So good news, not seeing a rapidly intensifying thunderstorm there. Still likely is producing the loud and proud that we talked about earlier. Pockets of wind gust, 50 to 60 miles per hour, very possible within the storm as it comes through Perry County. Will, do you have your Linden cam? Looks like we may start getting some wind. Yeah, yep. Check that out.
Yep, we can see the movement there with the flags at the Perry County Courthouse starting to indicate that wind moving in, and that's what's going to blow our decorations around, everybody.
Yes. And notice the dark cloud there, very good shelf cloud feature. So if you have these big spring and summer thunderstorms, we had a ton of them back in August, that first week of August, that was crazy with all our severe weather. You see that big line going all the way across the sky. It looks like a big rolling cloud. There's some lightning. Yep. Mm-hmm. Good lightning there. It looks scary. It looks terrifying, but really that's just the cool wind blowing out of the thunderstorm that produces that really scary looking cloud that we call a shelf cloud that goes all the way across the sky. But again, that's going to be where your wind shifts from the south over to the west and northwest. You can see again the flags they're blowing there in downtown Linden. So not quite to the strongest part of the thunderstorm yet. We'll continue to see probably 15, 20, 25 mile per hour winds until the heaviest rain arrives. And then when we get that heavy rain, that's when we can get some of those higher wind gusts transported down to the surface, 50, 60 miles per hour possible. But right now, looking at our velocity data while you continue to, there you go. Either way, Will, you can keep it on the camera or you can go back.
No, we'll take you from the ground to the sky there. That's what we're here to do.
That's it. A lot of good news here. So notice how everything is one color, which is the red color.
I'm gonna interrupt you here. I want to pull up our alert system because, Drew, I need your expertise to walk me through what we're seeing here.
Oh my goodness, that is a tornado emergency. Yep.
And it now has a catastrophic tag.
My goodness. That is, we're going to have, let's got to go back to Nashville because, again, these are rare guys and gals that are listening and watching. We don't get tornado emergencies very often. Most of the time, they're in your very high-end severe weather days. Think April 27th, 2011. We've now got a tornado emergency. Will, if you want to go through that, I'm going to get radar centered up so we can look at that here in just a minute.
All right. So basically, we've been kind of following this tornado as it has moved across Dixon, now entering Davidson County, And here's the language that the National Weather Service is using. At 4:52, a confirmed large and destructive tornado was located over Hendersonville, or 10 miles southwest of Gallatin, moving east at 40 miles per hour. And I wish it was moving faster. I mean, that's not a high rate of speed, folks. This is a tornado emergency for Gallatin and Hendersonville, a particularly dangerous situation. Take cover now. This is a deadly tornado. Again, this is the language that they are using. You see it on your screen. You are in a life-threatening situation with flying debris. Mobile homes will be destroyed, and I think it's going to be more than that, folks. And so this tornado is near Gallatin and Hendersonville around 5 o'clock. Let me bring in the radar here. You see it there on your screen. You see how close it is. If you see that right there where it kind of right over the word thunderstorm, that's where the National Weather Service radar is. And so all of this, while it is a clear picture, once you get too close to the radar, it's not a great thing to be too close, and it's not a great thing to be too far away. And so this is not exactly a very sweet spot for the radar. However, it is painting a very critical picture here. And Drew, something else I want to draw for those of you who are streaming along with us right now on Facebook, on YouTube, we see a purple box around this now. We've been seeing when a tornado warning was issued, a red box. Now we see a purple box. What does that mean?
Yep, that again is distinguishing that warning as I zoom out for you watching. Notice to the north, we've got the red polygons. The bright red is your normal radar indicated tornado warning. The one here near Portland and the Cross Plains area, that's going to be a PDS tornado warning, likely a tornado on the ground earlier there. But anytime we see this purple polygon and we left it purple, again, just like it changed colors on Will's little alert screen there, that just draws your attention right to that box because, again, that's as bad as it gets. Think Mayfield, Kentucky. That was a tornado emergency day. Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 2011. That was a tornado emergency day. So, again, this is about as bad as it gets for Hendersonville and Gallatin. As we go back in, notice the hook. Notice the debris ball. So what we're seeing on radar, and again, the radar is only 4 miles from this tornado on the ground. Notice at the very bottom, that little circle you see, that's what we call the cone of silence from the radar because it can't look straight up overhead. This tornado is just north of the radar there, east of Nashville. And then when we flip over to velocity, goodness gracious, that is just 76 mile per hour winds right next to about 60 mile per hour winds. So again, we have well over 100 miles per hour of spin going in this storm. And when we go back to our debris product, again, there's the debris coming out of Hendersonville, Tennessee, coming right towards the Gallatin area. This thing is moving right up U.S. Highway. Give me just a second. That's U.S. Highway 31 coming out of Hendersonville up towards Gallatin. This tornado looks to be paralleling the interstate, or I'm sorry, the highway as we speak.
I'm going to show you here I-65 North Long Hollow Parkway from a TDOT SmartWay camera. And as I come out of this, I was trying, Drew, to give you a closer look. Here's Hendersonville. This is now a TDOT map, folks. This is not radar. As I try to access these cameras, they're knocked offline. They're not even coming up. That could be because they've been damaged. It could be because the power is out. These are cameras that, as you were saying, are in the thick of this area that is under this tornado emergency. You start to also see the indications of traffic patterns. Lots of congestion, lots of places shut down. In Hendersonville, look, you have TriStar Medical Center. All of this extremely populated. Extremely densely populated. I'm trying to access these cameras for you, and I can't. They are not operational right now. It could be just because that's the way they were. I mean, we can access them in other areas. Here's that one that I just pulled up earlier. So they are working in some parts of town, but once you try to go to this area, you know.
Just got a report from the Weather Service, local storm report. Cars have been flipped on I-65 in Davidson County. This is going to be 1 mile west of the Madison area. So this is going to be southwest of Hendersonville, south of Goodlettsville, Tennessee. Notice right where, if you're watching along with us, we have that tornado icon in the little box. Cars have been flipped now on I-65 as this tornado crossed. And again, it's likely still on the ground. This is a very long track tornado that touched down just east of Dixon. And we have every reason to believe it has not lifted since it touched down just east of Dixon. And now look at that latest radar scan. That is a classic Hook Echo, classic tornado on the ground. And again, we don't say this to exaggerate or scare anybody that may be in that area or friends and family. This truly is just about as bad as it gets when you see a signature on radar that intense, that long lasting, going through a highly populated area. So
From
again,
Gibson
our thoughts
County,
and prayers go out to those guys.
From Gibson County to Clarksville, we are seeing damage across the state of Tennessee tonight. Clear pictures, Drew, of these tornadoes. There's no doubt that, it's one thing to view this from as high in the sky as our radar systems are taking us right now. It's another thing when you start to see this on the ground, and we're seeing the results of this. And I think once we get through this dangerous situation happening near Hendersonville, that it's just going to be unfortunately a pretty bad picture. And folks, I was just talking to some colleagues here as we're trying to also, we can access a lot of these cameras, but anywhere near this Hendersonville area, we're just simply not able to. And this is why. Let me bring the radar full again, and you see, wow, you see this purple area. We're talking, of course, and what we're living through and experiencing here. And let's bring it back home for just a second, because I don't want to neglect those of you listening on the radio, those of you that are experiencing lightning and thunder here in our backyard. And now as we cut to the Commodore cam in downtown Linden, there's our rain. And so this is now moving through the heart of Perry County. It has moved through most of Lobelville. Now you're going to start to see it near Bon Aqua, Nunley, Centerville. You're going to be experiencing what we just went through here in Pineview, Lobelville. Decaturville, you're looking good. Most of Decatur County, you're looking good. And here's what I mean by that. So this is racing through your area. You're looking good. Flatwoods, you're about to have the same lightning, thunder, maybe even a little hail. I think, as we look there towards Centerville, just south of the interstate, that's where we're going to see more of let me cut back here because you can see that lightning every now and then. Let's keep it on the Commodore cam for just a minute, because you can definitely see that there on the Commodore cam. Some lightning popping every few minutes. So the cover, what we're seeing here just is not reaching the level of what our neighbors in Nashville certainly are seeing at this hour. But nonetheless, we are here in Perry County, so we want to let you know what's happening in our backyard, and that's the picture right now. But boy, and this is really stretching all the way from Savannah, parts of Hardin County. You're not in a warned area, but you still have some significant rainfall, and this kind of reaches the edge of our radar beam there. But Flatwoods, you're about to experience some of this as well. This is nothing, though, like the Nashville picture. And Drew, as we kind of expand that look out, and if you want to go back to Nashville radar, I think that there's just so much to take in. Now, when you see this little tornado icon on the screen there, that was also pink or purple there, what did that mean? You see those tornado icons?
Exactly.
Tell
those
us what
are
those mean.
Sure, those are tornado reports, local storm reports that's being passed along to us directly from the Weather Service. Those overlay onto our radar here. So notice this was just about an hour ago. We had a tornado going on in Robertson County near Springfield, Tennessee. So that was a confirmed tornado that was on the ground. Now, this one is the one that we just talked about a few minutes ago. This is our ongoing tornado that's now coming out of Hendersonville, coming up towards Gallatin, Tennessee. Cars have been flipped on I-65 north of downtown Nashville. So if we go in a little bit closer, you'll be able to see exactly where that is. Unfortunately, we're having more heavy rainfall move over that area as we're probably having search and rescue ongoing from the emergency responders up and down I-65 from the northern Nashville area, Nashville downtown and points north, up through Goodlettsville, Tennessee. Again, near, let's get a cross street on that. That's going to be State Highway 45 that crosses Interstate 65. If you're familiar with that area, north side of Nashville, that's going to be very near where we had cars flipped on I-65 with this very large confirmed tornado that moved through. As we zoom back out, this thing, oh my goodness, Will.
Yeah. And it's still
just
there. I mean, the intensity is still there. And look, and this is what you're talking about here, all around Gallatin. What does this mean for Gallatin? I mean, this is traveling right along what is that, I-40?
U.S. Highway 31. Yep, it's Highway 31 that comes up into Gallatin from the southwest side. And then we have State Highway 109 that comes up from the south to the north right into downtown Gallatin. And then you've also got the loop, 109 loop, that goes around to the west side of town. We just got an update. You see on the icon there, our radar is going to be updating here in just a moment, but we flip back to debris. And my goodness, this thing is still on the ground. All those white pixels you see here right in the middle of your screen, that is simply radar telling us that there is objects in the air that are not supposed to be there. It's not rain. It's not hail. We have pieces of buildings or trees or branches or vehicles or you name it. Things that are not supposed to be in the atmosphere are there now. So we have to obviously know that is tornado debris now in Gallatin, Tennessee, near U.S. Highway 31, State Highway 109. And the next up, let's zoom out because, Will, I don't see any reason that this thing is letting up anytime soon. So if you have friends or family members down the line, Hartsville, Tennessee, Bethpage, Tennessee, all the way up to maybe Westmoreland. It may stay south of Westmoreland, all the way over to the Lafayette area. Give them a call. Make sure they know that they've got a big tornado that has literally cut all the way across Middle Tennessee from near Dixon, north side of Nashville, Gallatin, Hendersonville, Goodlettsville area. And now it's still on the ground. And we're likely about to see an extension, Will, of either a PDS tornado warning or they may continue this tornado emergency eastward because we're getting pretty close to the east side of that polygon. So they're probably drawing up a new warning as we speak right now.
Okay, you don't necessarily have to switch products, but let's just back out a little bit. Let's try to keep that on the screen and also show what we're dealing with here in our neck of the woods. And finally, we're able to narrow this down to two situations for you. In the middle of your screen, you see Linden. You see Hohenwald, and this is the source of our severe thunderstorm warning, which expires in 20 minutes. But it will continue on. Summertown, Columbia, Murray County, get ready. This is going to be racing across downtown Hohenwald in just a little while. It's, I say racing, it's not moving all that fast, though. I need to change how I describe that because these are not rapidly moving situations. Nonetheless, let's bring you to downtown Linden. Let's show you the Commodore cam. Just as I took it there, you could see the lightning, and we have now rain in downtown, and this is a lot of what we experienced here in northern parts of Perry County earlier tonight. Flashes of lightning as this is now impacting downtown Linden as well. So I want to update you, of course, what's happening here in our backyard in terms of the weather affecting us, but it's just nothing on the level of what is being experienced to areas around Nashville right now. And I'm sorry, we're all multitasking. Both of us are off camera right now because we're both we have a lot of information coming into us. And honestly, I know that most of you by now are probably watching some of the big boys that have access to more cameras than we do, and I understand. And those of you who are watching and listening because you want to know exactly what's happening in our backyard, I just don't want you to feel like that we're ignoring that. But in terms of the larger picture of what is happening, when we look at this picture, we're okay. We have some thunderstorms. It's okay. You're going to hear some lightning. maybe even have some hail. Those of you just south of Linden, as we come in closer
Mm-hmm.
here, you may still experience some of this hail between the Linden Flatwoods area along Highway 13. Definitely a possibility. But it is just nothing compared to the emergency that is unfolding right now outside of the Nashville metro area. And Drew, so we just saw that flash there. Let's walk the
Mm-hmm.
people through that, um,
Mm-hmm.
because that's going to be a big impact. We're going to hear that.
Yep. That's your hail. That's what's going to get your attention. There's south side of Linden, coming across State Highway 13 here in just a few minutes, north of the Flatwoods area, probably staying north of Wayne County. So this is going to be coming out towards the Hohenwald area, the Kimmins area, over the next 20 to 30 minutes. It will get your attention, but this is not damaging hail.
No.
This is going to be your
Yeah.
pea size to maybe dime size hail. Technically, we have to have a quarter size or larger for that to be what we consider damaging or destructive. Once we get up, into the golf ball or larger, that's when we really have problems. We're not talking about any of that. So that's literally just your small hail. You'll hear it bouncing around. You'll hear it on your vehicle, on your tin roof, if you have a tin roof, maybe blowing against your windows. But again, it's going to be rather short-lived, probably less than 5 or 10 minutes, and it's going to be blowing east. Linden, we're just about, check out the flags there on the live cam, not a lot of wind. So we're really winding this thing down quickly. Rain will continue. Lightning will continue. You probably will have another big 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gust when the actual front comes through out of the northwest. So what it looks like has happened here in our local area, these thunderstorms have outrun the cold front just a little bit. How do I know that? Well, we had a little bit of wind. We've got a little bit of hail, but we don't have a wind shift just yet. We've got calm winds there looking at downtown Linden. So that tells me that while the storms are moving east, the cold air is still a little bit further out to the northwest. So if we give you the all clear now and you start hearing the trees roaring and you start hearing the Christmas decorations jingling around outside here within the next hour or two, don't think that we misled you. That's just going to be the cold air rushing in and the cold front moving through. And we could easily have wind gusts in the 15 to 25 mile per hour range all night tonight as the colder air rushes in from the northwest. So again, good news locally. The Lobelville area, northern Perry County, Linden and points north, it looks like we're wrapping this thing up pretty quickly. We've still got that severe thunderstorm warning polygon in effect all the way down through Flatwoods, through Clifton, Waynesboro, Collinwood, all the way over to the Hohenwald, Centerville area. But I've not seen any reports at all in our local area of not even a single tree down or not even a single power outage or anything like that. So again, while we're focusing on Middle Tennessee and what a high impact event that is, that's literally why, because while we technically have the severe thunderstorm warning that continues here for just a little bit longer, we are just not seeing the damage reports come in that would lead us to believe we have active weather going on here in our local backyard. So I'm still on Nashville NextRad. We're not looking at our local radar because I wanted to go back up to the Nashville metro area. But real quick, just for you guys down in Hardin County and Wayne County, I do want to flip over to the Memphis NextRad because if you remember earlier, we were talking about Counts, Pickwick, Savannah, Waynesboro for a possible tornado coming in. We haven't had a chance to talk about you guys, but we not forgot you because I've been watching you behind the scenes here. That storm is still there. That's the sail southeast of Savannah in Hardin County that's going to be coming up into the Waynesboro, Collinwood area over the next 30 to 45 minutes. So technically that storm is not severe in Hardin County. Counts, Pickwick Dam, Nixon, Tennessee, southeast of Savannah. That's a loud storm, a lot of heavy rain, probably some small hail in there, lots of lightning. But I'm not seeing anything that would indicate we have a developing tornado there. There's a rotation product. It looks like I just turned radar off because you see a blank screen, a couple little green dots, but nothing to worry about in there. And then even on the velocity, there's just not a lot of wind being picked up here from the Memphis radar or our local radar here in our backyard. So, oh my goodness.
So this is an image, folks, that you're going to be seeing replay and replay and replay. This is earlier. Let me clarify. This is earlier from I-65, Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. This is from a TDOT camera, one of these cameras that we're now having hard time accessing. This is on a loop, but you see all those flashes of the transformers exploding, and there's the tornado. There it is. It's on your screen. Wow, look at this start to unfold, and this is just this is it moving through the area, and this is rolling through densely populated neighborhoods and just absolutely churning up transformers, buildings, debris. When earlier Drew was saying, look at that flash from that
That almost
explosion
looks like
there.
an explosion.
Yeah,
Did you see
look,
that?
yeah, and almost an explosion more powerful than what a typical transformer would do. So that may have
By
hit a
far,
substation.
yes.
Yeah, that may have hit a substation or something greater. Um, but this is you're going to see images like this on repeat. Is this because you have so many people in this area? So much is able to document. Now let's take you back real time. And Drew, as you are watching this still continue to impact, uh, our tornado, the way that they're alerting this tornado warning, has it changed? Is it a little bit different?
It is a little bit different, but the threat has not changed. So here's the way the Weather Service works tornado emergencies versus particularly dangerous situation tornado warnings. The tornado is still on the ground. It's still a large, confirmed, extremely dangerous tornado, as you can see in this warning text right here on your screen. But the difference is it's now moving out of that extremely heavily populated area into a slightly less populated area. We've still got people here. We've still got towns that's being impacted, but it's not going through a major metro area. Hence, they have dropped the tornado emergency wording. But I will read you off the warning. Southeastern Sumner, southwestern Macon, and Trousdale County in Middle Tennessee, a confirmed tornado warning continues until 5:45. This is a particularly dangerous situation. Take cover now. A confirmed large tornado was located over Gallatin, moving east at 40 miles per hour. So this is going to be, again, on top of Gallatin as of just a few minutes ago. Hartsville, Tennessee, around 5:25. So about 10 minutes or less to be moving into the Hartsville, Tennessee area. And what you're seeing on radar there, that curl, that hook, and the little ball here at the bottom, that is what we call a debris ball. There's your red next to your green, indicating the rotation. And then once we take out all the noise and say we just want to see where the possible tornado is, this is noise south of Gallatin. That's not real, but the red dot you see here that is the large tornado still on the ground. And then once we flip over to debris, that matches up perfectly with that white dot you see east of Gallatin. That is still the tornado. Will, let's turn on what we haven't turned on here in a few minutes.
And as you do that, I want to clarify again for people what you're seeing on the screen, because I don't want to mislead you. You're seeing a replay from I-65 Vietnam veterans in Nashville of this warned tornado, this particularly dangerous situation that we've been tracking for most of the afternoon. This is from a T-Dot camera high above, giving us an incredible viewpoint of this. We're letting that roll because I want to show you what our neighbors are going through. This is not in our immediate area, and this is a recording from about 30 minutes ago. But I just wanted to clarify that so that you weren't confused about what we're seeing. But this would explain, Drew, why we can't access most of the cameras in that area now.
And let me turn that button off, a little noisy there. What I have done for you guys watching at home, notice the little red dot back here east of Dixon. That is the area, that's not exact, but that is the area that we first saw a debris signature on radar northeast of Dixon, Tennessee. And if we take our mouse pointer out from that dot to where the tornado is now, we're at 45 miles,
wow,
possibly on the ground without this tornado lifting. So that would be a definite long track tornado. There's a spot, west and northwest of Nashville where it may have briefly lifted before it touched back down. Either way, this storm has been a monster, producing a tornado all the way across Middle Tennessee from just east of Dixon through Hendersonville, through Gallatin, and now, of course, next up is going to be the Hartsville, Tennessee area. And all we can hope at this point is we see this thing weaken and fall apart as it continues to move north and east. But we'll not yet. Still have every indication that this thing is on the ground producing damage east side of Gallatin.
And while this is happening in real time, the survey of other damaged areas continues, one of those being in Clarksville and Montgomery County. This news coming from News Channel 5 via officials there in Clarksville, showing entire shopping centers, neighborhoods leveled. Fort Campbell Boulevard shut down at the 101st Airborne Division Parkway. Multiple roads closed. The mayor is asking people to avoid the area because they can't even open the roadways for the debris at this point. So if you don't have to be there, don't. Springfield, Tennessee, we're seeing very clear imagery coming in of this tornado. We're going to see a lot of different angles of this, Drew, because this has come through such a populated area. But not only is this impacting Nashville in real time, but we're starting to now get some of the more organized reports of damage from places like Clarksville, Montgomery County, Dixon, where a lot of this kind of originated. And it's going to be a long, long night. Now I'm seeing some of these reports coming in from Hendersonville of homes on cars, collapsed homes. And this goes with the level of urgency, the level of warning that the National Weather Service was trying to convey through their earlier warnings. And again, for those of you who are streaming along on Facebook or YouTube and you see this image right here, this is a replay of a TDOT camera. This is not live. This is a replay from about 30 minutes ago. So I-65 at Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. Just nothing like what we see. I want to quickly, before this runs out, because we have a few minutes left, and to our audiences listening on the radio stations, we're actually going to return you to regular programming here shortly, because a lot of the threat for our immediate listening area is winding down. But this is another look of the severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 5:30 for Perry, Hickman, Humphreys, Lewis, and Wayne County. And you can see it stretching all the way from the interstate well down to the state line. And we want Centerville to continue to pay attention. Hohenwald, Lewis County, you're going to have some rain, have some lightning, have some thunder, but just nothing like what we're seeing elsewhere in the state. But our job is to serve you first here in our backyard. But it's hard to not be, not only, I shouldn't say distracted, but just captivated by what is happening across Nashville tonight. Lots of information, pouring in. I'm sure it is on your end too, of the storm chasers that are out in these areas, the search and rescue operations that are underway. And one thing that always happens, Drew, you talk about insult to injury. You have a system like this come through, does this type of damage, and then behind it, cold air rushing in and making it even more unpleasant on top of the trauma of an emergency like we've seen unfold tonight around Nashville.
You're right. I mean, so many people that may not be directly impacted and have damage from the tornado, you're going to have power outages that go all through the night and probably days to come in the most heavily impacted areas. And it's going to be frigid. Highs tomorrow are likely going to stay in the 40s all day. Wind chills are going to be maybe around freezing or a little bit below in some of those areas. So, yeah, it's really hard this time of the year when you get these big tornadic thunderstorms that do a lot of damage. And then, the human side, the suffering side extends well after the initial storm and the initial tornado, because, again, you're talking about something that's going to be days, weeks, and months now as far as the recovery process after the storm.
For those of you listening real quick on the radio on WOPC, we're going to return you to regular programming. If you want to stay with our coverage, we invite you to do that through our social channels on Facebook and YouTube, and we'll be there to serve you. Just wanted to kind of make that distinction there as we return people back to their regular programming. But, boy, this will wind down here shortly a lot of our streaming coverage tonight because we wanted to make sure that we were here for our neighbors in our backyard. That's our priority. But the Nashville TV stations and Fox Weather and all these entities have much better news gathering capabilities than me and the dogs do here in the Pineview studio. And I say that because we want you to take a look at some of this coverage tonight. And look at the bullet we dodged, but unfortunately, it had to land somewhere, and it landed in a very populated area and has affected a lot of people tonight. Take us back up to Nashville, if you can.
Sure thing.
And
Real quick, seeing a little bit of intensification there on the storm east side of Clifton, Tennessee.
All right.
I keep flipping back and forth between rotation and radar. Nothing too concerning yet, but notice the little area southeast of Clifton, northwest of Waynesboro. Little bit of weak rotation. Again, that's to be expected, but we'll have to watch that area as it continues to move east to make sure it don't try to misbehave as it approaches the south side of Lewis County, probably over the next 30 minutes. But right now in our local area, that's going to be the strongest thunderstorm. Notice this little baby cell that's trying to pop up east of Wayne County. He's moving out of the Collinwood area now. I've been watching him as we've been talking about Nashville. A little bit of weak rotation, eastern part of Wayne County, but that's quickly moving out of our area into Lawrence County, Tennessee. And I think that's going to stay well southeast of the Hohenwald area as well. But yeah, let's go back up to the Nashville area.
And as you take us there, I'll take you here to downtown Linden. Light rain continues, but a couple things to notice about this. The lightning you can see now just barely in the distance, so it's not overhead in the heart of Perry County, starting to move towards more of the Hohenwald, Lewis County, Centerville, Hickman County, Murray County region at this point. And so things are improving in terms of our picture here.
And we got our radar loaded up, and thankfully, finally, we are seeing that long track tornado weakening as it moves east of Gallatin. Now, it looks like we still have some debris falling out of the sky. It could be from the earlier large tornado that was still on the ground coming through Gallatin, Tennessee. But again, the good news is weaker does not always mean not still on the ground, but we're not seeing the insane velocity signatures that we had even 10 minutes ago. On the rotation product, we've still got a little green dot there, but we've now lost that red color that we really look for when we're looking for a possible tornado on the ground. As I back that up a scan or two, you'll see what I'm talking about there. There's where we still had a tornado sure on the ground, and that's where we are now. So we're finally losing that very intense rotation. So hopefully the storm will quickly weaken and will no longer produce a tornado for that area east of Gallatin.
And that will hopefully give folks in that area a chance to breathe and calm down. I'm continuing to review the information that we're seeing from people that have been documenting this across Middle Tennessee tonight, and it has just been something to really to take in. And so I think this is about, Drew, going to wind down the coverage that we're going to be sharing with people tonight. From our standpoint, we, again, primarily want to serve our people here in our immediate area. As you can see, I'm scrolling through Twitter, looking at all this stuff. Boy, oh boy.
And real quick, as we're leaving, new severe thunderstorm warning just issued for parts of Wayne County, and you'll see why. A little bit of enhanced span there just southwest of Collinwood. So brand new severe thunderstorm warning, Wayne County, that goes until 6:15. Even though we're wrapping it up, if something should happen and things start to go the bad way, start going back, ramping up, we will definitely come back here. But again, that's a severe thunderstorm located 7 miles north of Walnut Grove, moving northeast at 40. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts are going to be possible with that storm as it comes through the Collinwood area and eventually Waynesboro. And then also we'll watch southeastern parts of Wayne County because way down in northwest Alabama, we have another rotating thunderstorm down near the Shoals area. But I think that one's probably going to miss southern Wayne County. But we'll keep an eye on both of those for you over the next several minutes.
And you know a thing or two about the Shoals area.
Just a thing or two. So yeah, we're watching that one closely.
um, and so, what you see, friends, on your screen is our alert system, brand new tonight. Also, the radar system that you're seeing out of Camden, brand new, first time it's ever been able to be public facing here tonight. We're honored that we're able to do that, and glad for days just like today when the weather's unpredictable sometimes. And as we leave you, you see this tornado warning still in effect for 14 minutes from Macon, Sumner, Trousdale. Considerable tag on this, and how many people have been wrapped up in just unbelievable weather tonight. And as you're kind of looking over some information, let me take radar full and look at our alert system. We still have active thunderstorm warnings for Hickman, Lewis, Murray, Williamson County, Wayne, and Hardin, all of which are in our listing area. So we will continue to watch these, but we're not getting reports, as Drew indicated earlier, of widespread power outages, intense areas of hail. We've seen hail pop up every now and then. We've even experienced it here in our studios, but it has not been long-lived. And so this is kind of moving back into the level of thunderstorm activity that you expect for this time of year. So we don't want to blow it out of proportion of what we're experiencing here. Just inform you. And there's a good chance we'll even stream the radar beyond our coverage. But now here at about 4 hours in, I think we can take a break. And certainly think of our neighbors tonight in Davidson County, Dixon, Clarksville, Montgomery County. It's probably going to be more than that. The story's not completely over for our state, but it is certainly out of our immediate viewing area here. And so we wanted to just kind of show you the difference of what we're doing. And, you're right. Even before we go here, looking what's developing just north of Hohenwald, Kimmins, this area, it's warned for a reason, still worth paying attention to tonight.
That's right. Definitely take your severe thunderstorm warning seriously. Stay away from windows. Try to not be driving during them, because even though we're winding things down here and haven't had a lot of damage reports, that's not to say we could not have sporadic wind damage for the remainder of the evening. So definitely just keep it here and stay weather aware.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us for this coverage tonight, we think. But if another warning pops up, we'll be here with you. But we thank all of you for streaming along with us. Hopefully your night can settle down a little bit after it moves out of our immediate viewing area here, and certainly think of our neighbors tonight. Drew, I appreciate your knowledge, your expertise, helping guide us through. What a first day for this. But that's what we're here to do, right?
What a crazy first day. I don't think either one of us anticipated what happened just outside of our area. But again,
not at all.
As much as our heart breaks for our friends and neighbors up there in the Nashville area, I'm very happy that so far the storms have stayed very tame in our local area. So we're hoping we can keep it that way for the rest of the night. But again, thank you, Will, for having me on, and I've really enjoyed doing the coverage with you this afternoon.
All right, and friends, we'll leave you with a Commodore Cam and wish you a good night.